Eagles. Eagles.
And the Philadelphia Eagles have squandered the opportunity to get the number 2 seed with a loss today to the Washington Commanders 24-17 after the Bears fall to the Lions. So one of the dominoes fell for the Eagles to get the 2 seed, and they do not handle their business. And the Eagles lose today to the 4-12 Commanders, who finished the year 5-12. And the Philadelphia Eagles, your Philadelphia Eagles, finished the season at 11-6 and will be the 3 seed in the playoffs for the NFC. Welcome into the JAKIB Postgame Show, everybody. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, Dan Sileo. We'll talk to John McMullen a little bit later on in the show. Big Sil's coming right to you, man. A lot to talk about on this postgame show. You know, I thought it was going to be a boring one, but now, Sills, you're the 3 seed. Questions on Nick Sirianni's decision to set the starters will be had. Talk on Tanner McKee, well, I presume will die down pretty quickly. And now you will go into next week's playoff game. The number 3 seed you will host. But, boy, that number 2 seed was right within your grasp. Welcome in, Sills. Your first thought, man, when the Eagles lost today.
When I heard people saying in Philadelphia media that, guess what, you can't control anything. Yes, you can. You can control taking care of your business by going out and winning a football game. When you have still indecision when it comes to seeding still out there, don't worry about what other people are doing. Take care of your own business and use your starters. I mean, bro, everything lined up. We saw how the league went this past weekend with Carolina and the Buccaneers and Atlanta and New Orleans. Nothing is a given. Go take care of your own business. You're going to have people say that was out of your hands. No, it wasn't. Take care of your own business. And by the way, you're all welcome. I predicted 11-6 on the season, and it is 11-6. Hey, and for the record on Tanner McKee, hey, dude, when you throw garbage cans out there for the kid to go out there and perform to try to win a game, hey, this is what you're going to get. Of course, a guy with 48 attempts is not going to be in rhythm when you don't really have him out there playing. By the way, too, you lost to the worst quarterback maybe in pro football history in Josh Johnson. He is brutal. And for you to lose that game, and get this, it's not so much that you lose with your backups. Do you really think that they wanted to play Jordan Davis and Moro Ajomo that many reps today? Absolutely not. And you saw the depth level of your football team. If you get any kind of injuries interior-wise, they were completely gassed. So again, I think the decision to sit your starters, or how about this, at least play your starters for a half. I'm sorry, man. Take care of your own business. Don't worry about what – it wasn't like it was out of reach, Xander. There was still something there that if you did win and they lost, you did control a little bit of your destiny if you won. But she went like this. Okay, well, I don't really care about the 2. The only other way to look at this is this. The Eagles didn't care about the 2 seed, and they were okay with the 3 seed. Other than that, any other way, sitting your guys was a mistake.
Well, I'll tell you this. The good news is the 2 seed, I could see that 2 seed getting bounced. It's going to be the Bears. Anybody who saw any of that game today, they didn't look too hot. So let's see what happens with it. I think the question then would become, Sills, would you rather the result that happened today where you fall to the 3 seed, or would you rather get the 2 seed and then, have the potential for an injury?
Okay, well, no. Here. Well, okay, that's what they want.
I don't know. First, let me ask you, do you think it was a mistake to not play the starters today?
At least for a half, yeah.
Okay.
To get a lead and sit on it. Listen, I'm not saying all 4, because, Xander, you tell me, if you put your starters in that football game, you're 21-0 at half. And you could basically do what you did against the Bills and ride home. Okay? You could have rode it home.
I don't know that we'd be up 21-0. I mean, the starters haven't been up 21-0 ever this year.
Okay, so you're telling me they couldn't have done a little better than the current guys that were out there today against that?
I think they would. I think they would have done better. I do think they would have done better.
Right. You don't think A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith would have done better? I do.
No, I do, but I'm just saying I don't think they would have been up 21-0 because they haven't been ever. They played this team 2 weeks ago with Mariota. They weren't up 21-0.
Boy, I do. I'm sorry, I do. I mean,
21-0?
it's 10-7 against stiffs. You had 7 points on the board with stiffs. You're telling me 14 more points between A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley. If that's the case, you're not going anywhere in the playoffs.
Well, whatever they would have been up. I do agree that, you could look at it now. Now it brings everything into play because the Bears lose and, they don't win, so they don't handle their business. Nick's going to get a lot of shit. I will say this. The Eagles are going into the playoffs pretty healthy. That's obviously what the main goal of today was.
Well, that's the only thing. They're not going with any offensive momentum whatsoever.
Yeah, but I don't know that they would have had offensive momentum anyway.
They wouldn't, and they haven't, and they're not. That's my point. They're not.
So you think they would have had it today?
No, I don't think it really matters, but at least you would have been in the two-hole.
Yeah, right. That's what it is to me. It's not about the offensive
It's
momentum.
not about, momentum. You haven't had it all year.
Yeah, I mean, now obviously you would have wanted to get the 2 seed, but I think you're right overall. I mean, I do think the question is obviously come into play now, but
now first you have to go and ask Nick the question: did you not care about being the 2 to rest your guys?
I think they did,
and if he says I didn't care, well then okay.
I think they did. I think they do. I think that's how they maybe looked at it.
Cared by starting their backups. They were arrogant enough to believe they were going to beat them and beat the worst quarterback in pro football. Well, guess what? Welcome to the NFL, kids. These are the best players in the world. And even when you think that you got the best roster on the planet, welcome to the NFL. Even the worst players in the world are some of the best in the world.
It's true. It's true. What'd you make of Tanner McKee's performance? He was 21 of 40 for 221 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He had 3 sacks. Look, I didn't think he played that bad of a game. I thought he spread the ball around well. I mean, he's clearly limited in what he can do. I mean, you see the difference with having a dual threat, a guy that can escape the pocket. You know where it comes up to me the most is the 3rd and 4th and shorts, where you trust Jalen to just make a play, whether it's with his legs, his arm, whatever it is. Tanner just can't move, and if nobody's open, they're cooked. And I got one other takeaway from the game today. All right, this is my one other takeaway, and I assume I'll be fighting with John on this all week. I think today was the worst day Kevin Patullo had all year because everybody told me all year, John included, they run an offense a certain kind of way because of the quarterback, because of the philosophy and all these different things. Well, you got a quarterback who threw the ball 40 times today. I don't think Kevin Patullo called a very good game. Do you?
He didn't. And by the way, just to put it in context, that's the 5th best passing attacking offense in the year. That 241 yards passing that he had was 5th on the season. Just to put it in context on how bad the passing offense, that a guy with only 48 attempts comes into a ball game and throws the ball for the 5th best passing attack in the season this year. And for the record, get this. You want to see this one? The top one was 326 against Minnesota. After that, it was 289, lost to Dallas. 283, lost to New York. 280, lost to Denver. 240, lost to the Chargers. 241, lost to the Washington Commanders. Every time that football team has to throw the ball over 30 times, they lose.
Well, now that you've seen it with multiple quarterbacks too, do you think the Eagles have approached – do you think Nick Sirianni is smarter than we're giving him credit for them by this approach?
I think Nick Sirianni knows that he's winning football games with his defense and his conservatism because the quarterbacks, again, Tanner McKee basically had the same kind of output in a way that Jalen Hurts had. When the Philadelphia Eagles have to throw the ball 40 times, they lose. You lose
40 times today. They chose to. They didn't run the ball. They had 6 carries in the first half.
Right. Well, when you throw 40 times, you lose. Why did they run it more? I thought Bigsby had a great game. Why weren't you running? Get this.
I think Bigsby deserves more carries. Seriously. That dude runs hard.
16 carries, 75 yards on the game, and he had 4.7 a carry. Why wouldn't you have fed him more? By the way, I'll say this to you. I've brought this up numerous times, and I've been fought on it. Your depth level in your defensive tackle position is weak. Holy cow, man. When you take Jalen Carter off the field and you have to play multiple guys in there, they were gassed. That guy, Ty Robinson, had no right being on the field in the fourth quarter. He was out of gas. He was not conditioned to play in that football game. I'll say this to you, Jalix Hunt, in 3 years, is going to be one of the top edge rushers in this sport. Dude, 2 turnovers in the ball game. He was exceptional. Hey, I'll say this too. Your backup corners are the worst in pro football.
Oh, my gosh. Adoree Jackson deserves it. 1, an apology, and 2, a credit for the way he's played. He's obviously not the greatest corner in the world, but Keely Ringo and Ja'Cory Bennett, they are awful players.
Awful.
I don't like to say that.
I personally, and you're right. I don't like doing that.
For an NFL guy.
I'm with you. I don't like saying right.
Holy crap.
I'm with you.
I don't like a walking flag, Sills.
Bro.
Ja'Cory Bennett can't keep his hands off people.
Bro, Ja'Cory Bennett's the worst player on the team.
They traded Thomas Booker for that guy, and you say we don't have good defensive tackle depth. Whew.
Was on display today.
Yeah, well, I know why Adoree Jackson's the starter now. Sills, all right. We're going to talk more about the game. I want to thank everybody for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button today. Eagles, Niners, at the link next weekend. That's your opening round playoff matchup for your Philadelphia Eagles, everybody listening. Sills, what's your first thought on that matchup for the Birds in round 1?
I don't think that the Niners are going to put up 35 points on that team.
No, they put up 3 on Seattle last night.
Okay. Well, you've got to determine if you think your defense is in Seattle's room, and I do think they are.
I do.
Okay?
Too.
I do. So I'm going to go down this lane. This is going to be a Christian McCaffrey and a George Kittle ball game. This is going to be how they handle those 2 guys. And pressure on Purdy. If you get pressure on Purdy, move him off his point, you should be able to win this football game. I would definitely think that this is going to be about a 5.5-point game spread. That's what I would throw out there in favor of the Eagles here. Now, listen, Seattle's a really good football team right now, and they're playing with momentum. It's funny, Xander, momentum sometimes doesn't mean you're the better team. It just means that you're playing with great confidence and you're playing going into ball games with great momentum. Let me ask you this. Do you really think the Eagles are playing? I don't believe the Eagles are playing as a unit with great momentum. I think they're playing with the defensive side of the ball with great momentum.
Yeah,
offensively, I think you're spotty.
Well, I think we've been spotty all year. I mean, we've been a defensive.
Well, that's your identity.
All year. Well, and I think, you look at the way Seattle won last night. That to me is the recipe to beat the Niners. Take them out of the game defensively. They've had a really easy schedule this year. Now, granted, I think they're more talented than most. I've been talking about them for a couple of weeks now. I think they're a good team, but that's a perfect Eagle game.
Bro, they're in the best division in football, though, too. Remember,
defensively, how do you think here's the matchup in next
Remember,
week.
Though, Xander, they played the Rams twice. They played Seattle twice. You're talking about a really good division, and you're talking about a Cardinal team that actually pushed the Rams today a little bit in the first half of that football game. I'm not saying that the Cardinals are a great team. Cardinals have some talented football players there, but that's the best division in football. And when you play tomato cans, you're going to be able to go out there and not really know who you are. And the NFC East has not been good this year. It just has not been. You split in the NFC East this year.
Eagles finished 3-3 in the NFC East this year.
The Cowboys had a better record in the East.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. That I would call that maybe one of few fails this year to go 3-3 in the East this year.
You were 500 in the East, right?
Yeah, that's no good. All right, this is the matchup I think is great next week. That I think could determine the game, and obviously players come first. But in a rare moment, I think you have an amazing coaching matchup next week. Kyle Shanahan versus Vic Fangio. Which of those two, Kyle the offensive mastermind, Vic the defensive mastermind, who gets the better of which? I think that could arguably win the game next week. Whoever has the better plan, whoever has the better plan for the game in that one.
How about this? If you flip the coin on, let's just go here and flip the coin. How do you like Robert Saleh versus Kevin Patullo?
I don't like it very much.
I don't think San Francisco has any talent over there.
Yeah, well, and Seattle only scored 13 points. That was a good defense.
But remember, what did you do against that Bears team that was ranked 30th in defense? Like you said all year, Zander, you said this. That Eagle offense is not taking advantage. That Eagle offense is not taking advantage of one bad defense this year.
Yeah, but that's not what I asked you
think you're going to go into this game and taking advantage of the Niner defense?
I didn't say that. I asked you about the offensive matchup versus our defense.
I'm not questioning you. I'm saying you said all year long, what defense have you taken advantage of?
Yeah, I agree. We don't take advantage of defenses.
That's right. So this is what you said on the other side of it is going to come down to Vic and Kyle. I think Vic is more patient than what Kyle is. I think Kyle, look, Super Bowl when he was the OC in Atlanta, the Super Bowls with Garoppolo and Purdy, I think he panics a little bit in the fourth quarters a little bit. Hey, his record of being in those big games is not very good. You agree?
Yeah, I mean, he obviously doesn't, hasn't gotten the job done, but he's still had some great playoff success. I mean, he's been to multiple Super Bowls. So let's see what he can do. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game next week. I don't know if anybody has seen the schedule for the game on what it's going to be, a Saturday night.
Eagles, I would bet Sunday. I mean, you're going to put the Eagles on a Sunday, not a Saturday. You're going to put Carolina on a Saturday.
By the way, here's the other good thing I think that's not very likely, but it's possible. I think it's possible that the Packers knock off the Bears next week.
Man, they are just melting down, though.
The Bears just don't look that good. I mean,
the Packers are worse.
Four straight losses, but remember, in the game that they played a couple of weeks ago, they would have won that game in Chicago if Jordan Love didn't go down.
Bro, the Packers got beat today. I mean, they're like, how many games have they lost in a row coming down the stretch, or how many games have they lost? I mean, they're melting down they got annihilated by the Vikings today. I mean, in a game, again, like you said there. Now, look, they didn't start Love in the ball game, and they didn't really play guys in this game here. But, boy, man, I mean, Green Bay, of all the teams heading into the postseason on the NFC side, them in Carolina, those are my biggest outliers on what they could do if they could do anything.
Yeah, I think
it comes to the playoffs.
To me, this is an Eagles defensive Super Bowl run. I mean, if this defense plays well, I think they could be right back in the Super Bowl. I really do. I mean, I'm looking at the way this thing could crumble. I know they're 3 seed and you want to be the 2 seed, but you're going to start with the Niners at home, and then you're probably who would it be if you're the 3 seed and you win? Would it be the 2 seed?
You'd go to Chicago.
If Chicago wins, you'd go to Chicago.
If they win, you would go to Chicago.
And if they lost, you'd probably play the Rams because they'll probably be.
Am I not right here? Let me take a look at it here. Would Chicago open up with the Packers?
Yeah, that's who they're going to play. 2 versus 7. And then the 1 seed will play the lowest remaining. So if the Packers win, they'd obviously play the Packers.
Oldest rivalry in football in Chicago, that could go either way.
Yeah, boy, if the Eagles win their first playoff game next week, I think, and I don't know, we'll see what happens in that Bears game, but there's a chance the cookie crumbles our way. Let's see how it goes.
Let me ask you this: in the second round, if they were able to go on, would they play the Rams in the second round?
Only if the Packers upset the Bears. If the Packers upset the Bears, you almost want the Bears to win and play. Who would you rather play? Would you rather play the Rams at home or the Bears on the road?
You know what? I'm going to go with what you've been saying. I don't know what it is. When this guy's like 10 down or 13 down, that Caleb Williams makes plays late. Dude, he makes some plays. Jeez. The Packers are just they don't have the tight end. They don't have Parsons. One of the receivers is banged up. I don't know, man.
All right, we'll get there. We got to see what happens next week. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But I am thinking about that. That's probably going to be what it looks like if you're able to handle business and beat the 49ers. 49ers have played well, though. I know they lost last night, everybody. But, they definitely found something late in the year. They were playing good football. And, I think they're going to come in, with a chip on their shoulder and see how they play. I think the Eagles.
Well, it's going to be a well-coached football team rolling in. That's for damn sure.
I agree.
You got coordinators on both sides of the football that are. It reminds me a little bit of Chicago, doesn't it? When you have Dennis Allen and you have, Ben Johnson, you're going to have Robert Saleh and you're going to have Kyle Shanahan rolling into these games. I mean, Zander, this is pretty good coaching going up here. And what do you make of the 11-6 record?
I thought of coming into this game, it was all things considered pretty good. I mean, you had a number 1 overall schedule. You had no back-to-back home games. You had, 6 primetime games, and you played on, 4 or 5 different days of the week. You had a Friday game, Thursday game, Saturday game, Sunday game, Monday game. I mean, all these different games. So, and they had tough opponents. So I thought all things considered, had they gotten to 12-5, which I was hoping they would, I thought it was a success. You lose the final game, you fall to 11-6. I think it's a push. I mean, I don't think they overachieved, but I also don't want to sit here and say that they underachieved, and I'm good with it. Now it's time to put up or shut up, man. Look, this is the beauty about being where the Eagles are. When you're like the Chiefs were a couple years ago, you don't get too caught up on regular season records, all right? They matter. I'm not saying they don't matter, but this is where you butter your bread now. You're in the postseason. Now, you go and win a couple games in the postseason, I assure you nobody's going to give a rat's ass about 11-6 or 12-5. So handle the business now in the postseason. I feel great about the defense. The offense has been a concern all year long, but, that's kind of the unchangeable, right? Like, it's not changed.
You're 7-6. You're 7-6 since the Liars month of September.
Yeah, but the season's over now, so you got to put the full context in. They're
I'm putting the full context of the season in because the season identifies what your identity is going into the playoffs. You don't automatically go into the postseason and create a new identity.
You cherry picked though from October. They're 11-6 on the season.
Well, I've been calling it all year. September's the Liars month, and I've been saying it since September for about 3.5 months now. That usually you don't really get reality football in the first month of the season, and you get it after that. So to me, you don't automatically create a new identity just because it's the postseason. The season tells you what you've done. I mean, that's who you are. That's what your identity is. The defense is playing at a high level, and the offense has been spotty up and down all year. That's what you are going
all right,
in.
So here's the question for you then. So Nick Sirianni will probably be under fire this week because of how it went. I think people will move on from it quick because we got a playoff game coming up.
Correct.
But so here's the truth though. Do you think the team will have benefited from getting a proverbial bye week this week by not playing starters? Offensive starters didn't play, defensive starters didn't play, except for a couple out there. Do you think there's real benefit for the Eagles going into the game next week, well rested and ready to go?
7 days was enough that you thought would take like a rest. You think 7 days is enough of a rest? Okay. All right. Well, again, I don't really think 7 days. I think it's, you get a chance to heal up a little bit more. It's kind of like a bye week a little bit for you. Yep. Obviously, the older players that have been banged up like Cam Jurgens and Lane and Dickerson, those guys are going to benefit. But I don't know. I mean, I again, 7 days. It's like plasma shots. It's kind of a Band-Aid, but we'll see. Again, when you get Lane back in there and you have Jalen Carter back in there, you got a whole different identity of a football team. Those two guys change your identity. So I mean, the guy who benefited the most from the bye is going to be Lane and Cam. And maybe Dickerson will benefit the most going into this game against San Francisco. And also this too, Zander, you're at home. If you had to go on the road and you did the bye, I'd probably say not really much. But I would probably say because your offensive guys have been banged up in that offensive line, maybe Barkley too a little bit, that, with all the carries of a year ago, he'll benefit a little bit. I was impressed with Tank. I really like what Tank did.
Honestly, dude, I thought Tanner had an okay game. I didn't really think
he did.
I mean, look, it wasn't
up
great.
And down a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but look, he hasn't played a game all year. He's got backups out there, backup offensive line, backup receivers. I thought he was good, and I thought he spread the ball around. Well, he didn't do great, but I don't think he did terrible at all.
How about this, Zander? Let me ask you this: do you think a bye helps an offense that hasn't performed well this year?
Well, I think it helps just from the physicality.
Okay.
Yeah, just
not from a continuity end.
Yeah, no. I mean, they haven't had that all year though, bye or not. I mean, so I don't feel like that to me has changed. That variable has stayed the same kind of all year. The offense is going to be inconsistent and largely unproductive to the level you want them to be. That remains the same. If the defense can give you what they've given you all year, I think the formula is there next week. Keep that San Francisco point output low, and the Eagles will find a way to win the football game, and then it's on to the next one. So
I'll tell you, here's something that you could take forever any way you want. No matter how great you think Vic Fangio is as a coordinator, when you put Ja'Cory Bennett and you put Keely Ringo back there in your secondary, this guy's not a magician. So when you have bad play back there, this comes down to what Dave Wanstead said years ago when he was on this program. It comes down to great players. And when you get great players back out there, you're going to get a great performance on your defensive side of the ball.
Well, Sills, it's funny you say that because on the halftime show, I said this, and I don't say this to take away anything from Vic Fangio, but I think we got to give the defensive players more credit here. And it's not to say that Vic doesn't do a great job too, but you see, like Vic Fangio called the game today too, guys.
Right.
He needs good players, and the players on the Eagles defense are good because he's able to run that defense and play it well and manage it well. So I think we got to give the players.
There's no way they wanted to play Moro Jomo and Jordan Davis that much today.
No, how many snaps?
No way.
I don't know how many snaps they played, but
boy, they were. Let me tell you what. Jordan Davis played a ton of snaps. He played a ton of snaps out there. Hey, let me ask you one question here, Zander. When you saw that automatically that somebody could have voiced down on the sidelines to Nick and said, because there was about 2 minutes left in the game, what if somebody would have called down and said, Nick, why don't you put AJ and Devontae back in the final drive to try to get them a touchdown to win the second seed? Do you think that was a mistake too?
I don't know. I mean, would you have been able to do that in the middle of the game?
Devontae played.
Yeah.
You put him in to get his yardage. Why wouldn't you put him in to try to get you a win?
Maybe.
I mean, what was more important, getting his grand or to win?
Yeah, clearly. I mean, I can understand.
But the most important thing in that game for the Eagles was today is to get Devontae Smith the 1K and not the win.
I mean, it's tough to push back on that because they did play Devontae in the start of the game. Why not play him at the end of the game?
And when he got him,
they
right. Pulled him. Well, when you saw that the Bears had lost and he had a shot at the 2, why wouldn't you put him back in? Obviously, it wasn't that important to him. Now, when Nick says that, he may say that, Zander. He may go like this. Hey, we're comfortable with being the 2 or the 3.
Yeah,
if he says that, then I'm going to go like this. Okay.
As a football guy, do you? I'm sure you understand that thought process, don't you? I mean, getting into that, yeah, right. I don't give a shit.
I leave that to the coaches to make that call. That's not my, that's me. I go out. You want me to go play 50 plays, or you want me to play 5 plays? That's on you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see how it is, man. Let's see. It's going to be a good one, man. Playoffs are here, though. I'm fired up, man. Look, the Eagles are in the playoffs. The number 3 seed. We get a playoff game at the Link next week. And we get to host the San Francisco 49ers. Where is Nad? Where are all our resident 49er fans, man? We need them in the chat this week because it's going to be a fun week getting ready for this one, Sills. I think it's going to be a good game, man. I think it's a good matchup, and I think if the Eagles are able to win the football game, and things bounce their way, it could be one of their tougher playoff matchups out of the way early. I think that, man. I do.
Here's the first round. Bears, Packers, Eagles, Niners, Panthers, Rams. Remember, the Panthers beat the Rams earlier.
Dude, this is the dream for me. I take it back. I don't want the Packers to upset the Bears. This is the dream scenario for me in the postseason. First round, Niners. Second round, Bears. And then you let Seattle versus LA play, and you only got to deal with one of them. Man, if the Rams beat Seattle, you get the host. If the Seattle wins, then you're going to Seattle.
You don't want to do this. I got to play the Rams, then Seattle.
Wait a second. So if I told everybody listening,
maybe the 3rd seed will pan out that way.
Maybe it will. If I told you at the beginning of the season, you're going to go to the Super Bowl and your 3 playoff matchups are going to be the 49ers, the Bears, and the Seahawks, you'd have said, sign me the fuck up. Sign me up right now.
Okay. There's only one little hitch I'd throw in there. Bears did beat you up.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay.
I like that
You're assuming that that's an off game. It could be.
I'm assuming that the Eagles defense took that personally.
Okay.
Brandon Graham, I was listening to Brandon Graham's podcast this week, and he said, man, them Bears, they ran over us this week. We're not happy about that this year. I think they took that personally. It doesn't mean they're going to stop it, but I think I like that matchup versus the Bears.
Okay. I mean,
it
could be. It could be that way. It could be. I'm not suggesting it won't be.
Yeah, so we'll see what ends up happening in that one. It's going to be an exciting playoff game. Let's get to some super chats here. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Got a lot of big super chats. We'll get to as many as we can here in the post-game show, and I'll get to every single one of them before I leave, but I probably can't rip them all right now. Let's go to Go Birds, $20 super. Thank you, brother. Jalen ball washers pounding their chest because Jalen is faster in a Lambo than McKee was in a Toyota Corolla. Ringo and Bennett should be bagging groceries by Monday. They cost us this game. Pathetic.
I would make the comment that I kind of agree with it, that you gave Tanner McKee a couple of trash.
I don't agree with the way he phrased it. But
I
agree with that. Yeah, I mean.
There were a couple trash cans out there that he was throwing the ball to. There were some bad decisions and some bad throwaways. But, dude, your cornerbacks in your secondary, holy cow. I think it shows you the kind of coaching that Vic had by trying to find the pieces that were going to fit to make it all work together. And I also think that Jalen Phillips' impact was on display today. When he wasn't out there, that secondary was terrible. When there was no pressure, there was Josh Johnson. Am I wrong when I say this?
Wait
a minute. Am I wrong when I say this? John McMullen said, I want to fine and I want to sue the NFL for having Josh Johnson play. Well, he just beat you.
Yeah, it's true. I'll say this about his point on Tanner. Like, I'll ask everybody, and I agree. I agree. I don't think Tanner played awesome, but if Jalen Hurts came into a game and all his receivers were hurt or out, and all his offensive line was hurt or out, and his starting tight end was hurt or out, and his starting running back was out, like, what would the expectation be?
Well, right, he's going to be able to move the sticks with his wheels.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, I think we do have to factor that in when evaluating Tanner McKee.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think it was perfect, but I think you got to factor that in. Go Birds, what's up? I appreciate the super, brother. Let's go to let me see here. Here's Marsh. What's up, Marsh? I don't want to hear shit about McKee ever again. Pumper, you are a moron. All right, go on there. Let's go to some more. Here's Motorscape Gary. What's up, Gary? F it. Line him up and knock him down. In Philly, in Chicago, doesn't matter. We have the pedigree, experience, and the absolute dominating defense. No one thinks we have what it takes. Keep sleeping.
I think that if I were looking at the defenses in this Super Bowl run, I would think that on the NFC side, I would go Seattle and you. And really, if you look at it, on that side of the aisle, there's really nobody else defensively. Bears have not a very good defense. Panthers aren't good. Rams are decent. Okay, the Niners, I think I agree with John. I think there's a lot of holes, and I think the Packers have a lot of holes due to injury. So really, the only one that I think that you'd have an issue with maybe would be that Seahawks defense because they're very talented at every level.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Seahawks matchup because I think our defense will make Sam Darnold struggle. I mean, you saw the Niners defense isn't that good, and I thought they had a pretty good night. As bad as their offense was, I mean, they held the Darnold and the Seahawks to only 13 points in that game. I thought it was a good night for them. So let's see. I like that matchup with the Seahawks. Let's go to Nick. What's up, Nick? What means more rest for the O-line? Hurts performs in the playoffs. Would we have played Hurts with this O-line? Nick, you're gonna have to speak better English there for me to read your supers, bro.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying here, but you're not playing Hurts ever without his top top unit guys. That's not going to happen. So I think he's making an excuse here for Tanner.
Maybe he is.
Well, Tanner's a backup, dude. He's going to play with backups.
Yeah, but whatever. Here's James. Nick, sorry, bro. Bad English. It's tough for me to read. James says, to tell a professional athlete to stop doing what he's supposed to do is so dumb. Injuries can happen all the time. It's part of the game. Don't ever tell me again that coaching isn't the problem. I'm going to disagree with – I agree with your point of telling professional athletes. Where I'll disagree with you is, James, you're discounting the level of physical toll this takes on their bodies. And when you have 17 ball games and you're trying to make a run for another 4, it's not about saying to an athlete, don't go do your job. It's about saying, I need you at your best in the biggest moments. I'm going to let you rest to get your body as close to good as you can get it. I don't think that's the way to look at it, the way he phrased it. Thank you.
And you're forgetting the week practices, bro. Right. And the traveling. It's a nightmare. Believe me, I think you're dismissing how hard that is on these players and on their bodies to go through these games. I mean, especially with the wild schedule the Eagles had. It was all over. There was no routine for those guys. I think that had a lot to do with that 11-6 record.
James, appreciate the super chat, brother. Here's Vast Money. What's up, Vast? I can't stand our coach, LOL. We play our 160-pound receiver for 45 yards for an incentive, but sit Saquon last year for a shot at the record books, but health matters, right? Now we're at the 3. All right, so Vast, I said this on the pregame show, and this is remember, I thought of this, and I should have thought about it in the moment, but I didn't. Running back is very different because a receiver can go out there and get 40 yards without everybody else playing. If you're going to get your running back, you probably would have had to play the offensive line. You know, like there's a little bit more pieces that go into that. While I do agree with your point, it sucks that they sat Saquon last year, but obviously they won the Super Bowl, so nobody gave a shit.
Well, the number one priority was to get Devontae his $1,000, not to win. I mean, that's the end result of the game. I mean, they played one of the top superstars on the team to get his incentive, and they pulled him. And when you knew that you could maybe get the 2 seed to put him out there and give Tanner another guy on the other side of Dotson, you didn't want to do it. Okay. Well, that's a decision that you made. That's a coaching and a philosophical decision that the upstairs made. Okay. Obviously, they didn't care about the 2-hole.
Yeah. Here's Vitality.
Do you agree with that, Zander? They didn't care about the 2nd seed.
It appears that way. Yeah. It appears that they were good with whatever hand they were dealt.
That's right. Okay.
No, I think that's fair to look at it that way. Here's Vitality. I'm so sick and tired of this team in short yardage. No excuses for not picking up first downs on 3rd and 1 inside the 5. KP overthinking the glaringly obvious.
You're assuming your backups are great. When you have a game like that and you're playing your backups like that, you know, that's one thing to talk about the frontline guys and your first team guys when it comes to short yardage offense. It's another thing when you got players in there that really haven't seen a lot of playing time, and you're talking about short yardage offense. In my opinion, guys, when you start doing that, that's not the Philadelphia Eagle team that played today. Remember that. Zander, that's not the Eagle team that played. The Eagle team was on the sidelines.
Bro, we do not have good backups. On defense, we do not have good backups.
The Commander backups beat you.
Yeah. That was a struggle bus.
Are you shocked that the Commander backups beat you?
Well, they beat the Beagle backups.
Okay. Are you shocked that your 53-man roster? So
I thought the
first 22 guys. Your first 22 guys, I get it, are way better than what Washington has, right? But Washington's back end of their roster beat you today.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, this reminds me of a point John makes all the time. John used to say this in the summer. He would say the top 10s of rosters are where you create the separation. 11 to 52.
That's right.
There's marginal difference across the league.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's very true. It's appeared to be very true. Here's Vitality again. Vitality, thanks for the supers, brother. Now, I need all the Start Tanner crowd to come out and apologize. He was inconsistent and missed consistently when it mattered most. Enjoy the home playoff game. It's a road trip to the Super Bowl from there.
Here, nobody on this network ever suggested anything about starting Tanner McKee. That was other places in Philadelphia. Not one show, not one host that I know of on our network never in any way was suggesting what some people were suggesting just to get clicks. We were never in that room.
We had quite a bit of super chatters, though, doing it, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They wanted to because the most popular guy in a football team's the backup.
Well, Tank, no, I didn't. I did not.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's not at all. Here's Sig Lord. What up, Sig? We let Smitty start so we could get 1K yards, but not our full offense so we could get the second seed. It makes no sense. It does. Sills, Sills, I think you've identified the truth. That was more important to them today than getting the 2 seed, was getting Smitty his 44 yards.
And I guarantee you when John comes on, John will go like this today. You know what he'll say? He'll say you had no control of your destiny. Well, if you would have taken care of your own business, you would have had control of your own destiny.
Yeah. I've been saying all week that I thought the Bears could lose that game.
Yeah, and you know what? There's going to be no fighting that because at the end of the day, the reality is this. You're now the 3-hole. Things played out the way if you just took care of your own business. And like you just said, Zander, what we just said was more important to get the 45 yards into 1K for the kid. John didn't even think he'd play, but there he was out there. I was kind of shocked too a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening in the game. Sills, takeaways from the game today. We mentioned Tanner McKee. I'm happy you brought up Tank Bigsby. I think that guy deserves more. I think he deserves more touches. I do, and it's not to say I'm trying to take away from Saquon. I think he's a good change of pace. He runs hard, aggressive, physical, has a good knack for the open field. I mean, when he gets the ball in his hands, he seems to find the spot of grass where it's open.
I thought he was great. I really did. I thought he was great today. I mean, I actually thought he was great in pass probe as well when they were blitzing people. Hey, let me ask you, who played center today?
Center was Drew Kendall.
He did a pretty decent job.
I think Brett Toth was guard, and then Toth got hurt in the game.
Well, whoever played center, wasn't a bad effort. Not a bad effort up there in the middle. Thought it was a pretty good effort. Maybe one of the better performances I've seen at the center position in the last month and a half. Just saying. Payne played.
So there's this screenshot out there right now of the Josh Johnson touchdown run. And there's nobody out there. And Keely Ringo
bit
he's
on
covering nobody. And he turns his back on Josh Johnson. And you could tell when Josh was doing it, he kind of was looking, to throw, and then he just realizes I can just walk this right in. I don't know what the heck Keely Ringo is doing out there.
Did you hear Ross Tucker, what he said in the broadcast?
No, what did Ross say?
He goes like, what are you doing? You don't turn your back on the goal. He turned his back on the goal line. When I saw, I was like, bro, you don't have that room to turn your back in the end zone.
I mean, I don't understand what the heck
a high school player makes that play.
So Nick Sirianni was asked. He's got no regret for his decision, and he knew this was a possible outcome. He says, no, you go through your process. You make the best decision for your football team. So,
okay. So they were good with either way.
I'm going to go a different way here, and it's just how I feel. I'm not that mad at Nick. I don't look at this like, and I get it. You did squander it, but I don't look at this as Nick made an egregious decision to sit the starters. Every year, Sills, that we went to the Super Bowl in 2 of the last 4 years, we sat our starters in Week 18. I don't have a problem with him sitting the starters down. The Eagles are the players on the field didn't handle their business today, and that to me is the bigger problem. But I can't look at Nick really and
let's go here with this then.
Wait, but real quick, one more point. Isn't this been their philosophy, Sills, from all the way from the beginning of training camp all the way through to Week 18? In every year, they put health first. That's why they don't practice a lot. It's why they don't have rigorous training camps for the players. They want to maintain health, and they've been a very healthy team in the last 4 years.
Okay.
Got to stick with your guns, man.
If we're going to go down that lane of your thinking, okay, and I'm not suggesting you're wrong here. After they realized they weren't going to be the top seed, their attitude has to be this then. Well, when I look at the Bears and the 49ers, I really don't see any difference.
I don't disagree.
You don't fear it. If you're the Eagles, you're not looking at the Bears and the Niners going, whoa.
Yeah, no, but the only difference is you're not at home. You're on the road for the Bears.
That's if the Bears win.
Yeah, well, then you won't play the Bears.
There's the Bear, right? Well, but the Bears would have fell.
No, what about the difference between the Packers?
But the Bears would have fell to the 6th.
No, they wouldn't have.
Yeah, they would have. They would have went from.
Nah, they would have went to the 3.
That's
Yeah.
right, because they won. They won.
Yeah, they weren't going to the 6.
They would have went to the 3rd. That's right, because
It was just for 2 or 3.
They won the North. They
So
won
the
the North.
real question would be, what's the difference between the Niners and the Packers?
Niners and Packers. What do you think the difference is between the Niners and Packers?
They're like opposites.
You think the Packers are more balanced?
I think the 49ers have played much better football recently. Since let's say Thanksgiving, when the NFL season gets into the moments where it really matters, you know, the 49ers have been a much better team than the Packers. I mean, the Packers are limping into the playoffs. A bunch of people hurt. Jordan Love hurt in and out of games. I mean, they're playing Malik Willis, losers of 4 straight. They looked abysmal today versus the Vikings. I know they didn't play that many people, but, I mean, the Packers, to me, would have been an easy first round.
What was the injuries today, too, in the ball game? Who got hurt in the game? Calcaterra got hurt.
Calcaterra, Toth went down and went out. I don't know any others off the top of my head. I think all good.
Okay, good. Because you want to get out of that game healthy. Yeah, I think Nick probably looked at it like this. So we played the Niners or the Packers. They're probably looking at it like the same team to them.
Well, there was a minor chance they would have played the Rams, but the Rams won today.
Rams were behind. I thought they were going to drop that thing too. They were behind.
What was the final in that game?
I think they won by 17.
Yeah, they pulled away. They pulled away late in the 4th quarter. But You're right. It was a 3-point game for a while there, and they were down for a little bit there. But Rams won that game today. So good stuff there. Sills, any other takeaways from players today? I got a couple. Jalix Hunt. Is there a player on the team, stars included? No. Let me. Is there an edge rusher on the team, an outside linebacker on the team that plays the position that Vic wants them to play better than Jalix Hunt plays it? And what I mean by that is Vic asks a lot of his edge rushers. It's not a simple pin your ears back, go get the quarterback. There's dropping, there's the flats, there's setting the edge, there's getting to the quarterback. I mean, Jalix Hunt does everything Vic wants him to do. He's almost good in coverage. It's amazing.
He reminds me of the Van Kinkel kid.
That's great comp.
That's the guy that he reminds me of, that he can drop in coverage, he can play the run, and he can rush the passer. You know, he's not the best at any one of those skill sets, but you know what he is good at? He's good at them all. And it creates that kind of dynamic in your defense where, dude, this guy had 2 turnovers and 2 takeaways in the ball game. I mean, he had a fumble recovery. And by the way, you know what I also love about the kid? He was around the ball. I'll tell you somebody else I was impressed with today, and I got to hand it to him. I'm very hard on him. Jordan Davis, man, he played a lot of snaps. And he's played a lot of snaps this year. And he was essential in that ball game, kept him in it. He really had a good game too, man. I mean, look, I like the kid, man. I mean, I'm coming around on the kid. I am.
I thought Trotter Jr. had a nice game.
Trotter Jr. played good too. Yeah. I think the entire secondary was just dog shit. I really did. I mean, you could see the loss of Cooper. My God. No Cooper DeJean.
Dude,
you do not have your headhunter out there.
Dude, this freaking defense, we got to pay all these guys, man. You can't let Cooper Quignon walk. You can't let Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and I think Moore will probably walk, but we'll see. Jalen Phillips, you don't want to let walk. I mean, boy, it's going to be interesting to see. We got a lot of guys on defense to pay, Sills.
Absolutely, man. And I'll tell you, I can't wait to see that matchup next week against the 49ers and that offense and how Kyle Shanahan's going to attack that defense with Vic. It's going to be interesting, man.
Early lean, Eagles by 10.
Oh, is that the point spread?
No.
That's okay.
My point spread.
Your point spread. Eagles by 10. So like 10, what? 30 points?
23 to 13.
What's that?
23 to 13.
23 to 13, like that. Okay, I can see that in that room. I think it's going to be much closer. It's a playoff football game. I think right now.
Give me a late touchdown for the Birds. I think it'll be a close game too. I think our defense suffocates him though.
I think it's going to be like 23-17.
I mean, I think Vic is watching that tape already from last night. I think he watched the game, but that dude that was a masterclass in how to shut down that offense.
Well, I'm gonna be more in the 23-17 room because you guys have played all one-score games all year long, and so to beat a team like that, you haven't beaten anybody like that. That was good this year like that. So I'm more in the 20.
Whoa. What do you mean?
Like who? Who have you beaten by like 10 or 11 points?
Oh, you mean by 10 points? No, you're right about that. Yeah, we haven't beat the shit out of. We've only beat the crap out of the Giants. We beat the crap out of the Raiders. The Commanders, the first time I think we won by 11.
You beat the shit out of the Giants in the second one?
Yeah, I said that 38-20.
Okay,
yeah. We haven't really beaten teams that big.
No.
Now, my take next week is more defensive. I mean, I think you might get a defensive touchdown. Like I could see a pick six or a fumble recovery of some sorts.
You know where I think San Francisco's going to struggle against you guys? In the red zone. I think they're going to move the ball from 20 to 20 in there. And I'm not saying all the time, but when they get in that red zone, I think they're going to have dude, the backups gave this Commander backup team struggles inside the red zone. There were some really good goal line stands down in there. I was pretty impressed with those guys, but yeah, man, your backups, man, they need to get in better shape too. That Ty Robinson kid, he needs an oxygen mask.
Dude, it wasn't a good day for the backups. It really wasn't. They did not put on a good showing today for themselves, unfortunately. I don't think – outside of the few we named, I really don't think it was an all that great day for anybody.
How do you think?
By the way, can we rip Patullo yet?
Can we rip Patullo? I don't know if
it's 41 passes or 20 passes. That dude doesn't have a feel for the game, dude. He does not have a feel for the game. Sills, the Commanders tie the game at 17. Okay, they tie the game at 17. The Eagles get the ball. He doesn't run the ball once with Tank Bigsby. I mean, this guy doesn't have a feel for the game.
Tank had almost 5 yards of carry.
Dude, I don't know what the heck he's doing out there.
I don't either. I mean, John and all these guys and all the guys that cover the team, man, they just cover for the guy.
Oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. I don't know.
It is. Hey, I'm with you, man.
But the whole thing, it was built on this thing of like, this is the offense you run with Jalen Hurts and this quarterback and this coach, and this is how they want to play. And now you get a new quarterback in there, and you don't play that way. They threw the ball 40 times today. And Patullo still stunk in those moments. So that excuse is not valid today.
Hey, by the way, I do want you to know, Zander, I do think that you're the better team going into this Niner game. I do. I think you're the better team.
The Niners don't have – I mean, remember, now if they had Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, it might be a different
That's a different world.
But they don't, and that's a big thing for them, no doubt.
Yeah, I agree. I still think McCaffrey and Kittle will be a problem.
So who do you think the biggest challenges for the Eagles would be in the postseason?
Seattle and the Rams. Especially you have to go to Seattle.
Seattle and the Rams.
Yeah. Seattle and the Rams. The rest of those teams, take care of business. Don't turn the ball over. What's that thing John uses? Risk averse. Play the way of playing. And you're going to get through those rounds. But then, listen, here's the teams that are going to come out of the NFC. It's either going to be the Eagles, it's going to be the Seahawks, or it's going to be the Rams. If you told me any of those other teams come out, I'd be like this. That's a huge shock, dude. Yeah. If somebody else comes out. You know the Jaguars could still win the number 1 overall seed tonight? I mean, they can, whatever happens.
Yeah, I thought the Broncos got it because they won.
Oh, did they win? Okay, they won today. Okay, I didn't see that they had won.
The Broncos won today, yeah. I mean, they played the backups for the Chargers, I think so.
Okay.
Look. And the Rams are going to win next week. They're going to take on Carolina in the first round. Although Carolina beat them this year.
Carolina beat them. Carolina beat them in Carolina. And by the way, they got to go to Carolina. Remember, they're on the road.
That's right.
You got to put their asses on the road.
Yeah. Can you imagine if the
Rams get knocked off in
the Packers? I know the Packers haven't looked good, but that's a divisional game too.
Can you imagine in the first round if the Rams get beat and then the divisional round the Seahawks get beat and you're standing there with like Chicago or like, hey, dude.
I think the Packers could knock them off too.
Dude, I'm not – hey, anything's going to happen. And I think it's going to be a wild playoffs.
I do too. I think it's going to be yeah, little Toddy. Panthers versus Eagles for the NFC Championship. That'd be in Philly. That would be in Philly.
It would be in Philly. Yeah, it'd be in Philly. Two division winners, but Panthers are the 4th seed.
Oh man. Let's see, man. It could get interesting out there. I can't wait to see how it all shakes out. Appreciate everybody being here today on the post-game show. Eagles lose 24-17 today.
Does it bug you they lost?
What's that?
Bug you they lost? Not me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like when the Eagles.
Hey,
lose.
you know what though? Get the playoffs coming up here now. You know,
my mind was there, but I didn't like that. You know, the reason we didn't get the 2. If we won the game and the Bears won, it's like shoot, we missed the 2 seed. But the fact that the Bears lost and we didn't handle our business,
agreed,
rubbed me wrong. But again, I don't really look at it like I got to rip Nick. I don't, because was everybody happy in 22 when every starter was available for the Super Bowl? Yes, they were. Was everybody happy last year when you had a largely healthy team for your playoff run? Yes, you were. Was everybody happy this year when we had no big injuries? Yes, we were. Like, if you want to be happy about that shit, you can't now pick and choose that Nick Sirianni's philosophy for health should be questioned. Either you value the health or you don't. Some teams don't. Dan Campbell doesn't.
Yeah, but I don't really think you're all that healthy going in with Carter and Lane.
Well, Lane's going to return, and Carter looked pretty good last week, my friend. I mean, they're a healthy team right now, the Eagles, going into the postseason.
Okay.
That's why I have a hard time ripping Nick for today,
Okay.
because the philosophy is the same. He prioritizes health. It's worked for 4 or 5 years now. So I get it. But all right, everybody, appreciate everybody. We'll get to all super chats today. Let's get the one here, and then we got John McMullen coming up next. Philly. Says, stupid. So as I say, I'm not that mad at Nick. Philly 500 is ready to erupt. He says, stupid Sirianni. Dumbest decision I've ever seen. The Eagles bury Switzer. I'm fuming mad. I don't give away home games. Dumb, dumb, dumb.
How much heat do you think he takes this week?
Not that much. Everybody's getting ready for the playoff game, man.
You don't think Monday morning that he takes heat for that?
No, I don't. I think Philly has a point.
See, but here's me, Philly. I don't care if it's Green Bay or the 49ers. I really don't care.
I think that's what the Eagles' approach was.
I don't care. Both those teams, whether I'm in the 3 or the 2. I mean, we're not talking about it evading the 1985 Bears here. There's no dominant team over there. And I think they looked at it probably like this. Hey, I don't care if it's Green Bay or San Fran. I really don't.
Yeah, maybe. I think Morty's right. Some heat on Monday, and then it'll be done. Let's go to John McMullen, who joins us right now in the post-game show. Johnny Mac, are you out there, brother? The Eagles lose today, 24-17.
To the worst quarterback in NFL history.
Josh Johnson, yeah, my lawsuit is done. Josh Johnson won a football game. I lost it already. Yeah, he won a football game. Boy, I'll tell you, I think the secondary is really the culprits. I mean, 6 penalties. And I mean, Washington moved the ball a little bit better than I thought they would, but I think the penalty yardage was 123 yards, and 6 of them were on the secondary. Interferences, holding, first down. You know, they gave him the ball at the 1 yard line. I joked the secondary was trying to let the Commanders in the end zone. The front 7 was trying to keep them out because they were stuffing them. And then they have another penalty, and it's 1st and goal again. So really poor performance by Jacorian Bennett had 3. Keely Ringo had 2. Mac McWilliams had a big one. Really poor performance by those young guys. If you think about it, the front was pretty good. I mean, Jalix Hunt played a heck of a lot more than I thought he would, and he has the interception. Dude's got 3 interceptions. He looks like his safety out there. He looks like he's back at Cornell. He's the first Eagles player to have an interception and a fumble recovery in the same game since T.J. Edwards in 2021. I thought he played great. thought, Moro Jomo did a nice job. He played quite a bit. But that secondary, I think, really hurt. And then this is like these Week 18 games. Tanner plays pretty good early, and then it starts to waver because you got to get repetitive, and it becomes too predictable. And didn't play well in the second half. Plus, they had a lot of moving parts. Matt Pryor started the game at right tackle, then he was playing right guard, and then he had to move to left guard when Brett Toth got a concussion. So, I mean, but I know that I heard you guys talking about Nick. Look, look, you don't like the results. The decision he made was about the health of the players. If the same thing happens, and if you go back to 2023 and you beat Washington because you play your starters, but you lose A.J. Brown, you lose Reed Blankenship, just to use those two guys because they got hurt back in 2023, and then all of a sudden you got to go in the playoffs and you're in a deep, you got deep issues because of injuries, then I don't think you like that result. So, yeah, Detroit. And by the way, it highlights why you don't think they could go to Chicago in round two and beat the Bears. I mean, Green Bay was better than the Bears until Jordan Love went down. The Detroit Lions are the fourth place team. They were better than the Bears. A couple weeks ago, Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy beat them in the final minute, but then they gave up a 65-yard kickoff return. That team stinks. The only team they played well against was the Eagles. That team stinks.
You want to hear this too, John? Every single team in the NFC North was above 500 this year too, just to show you about that division. So, John, I thought something was peculiar, and you helped me out on this. So you and I talked about Devontae Smith being played in this ball game, and they made sure that he got his 45 yards or whatever it was. Let me ask you this here, just in hindsight here. So, like, when you knew that the Bears had lost that football game, do you think there was any shot of them trying to put him back in to try to maybe win that ball game to get to 2-0? Or do you believe what Nick said in the presser today? I think it came down to this. I don't care if it's Green Bay or San Fran. To me, they're the same team. So they're not really caring about the 2 or 3 seed. But the number one priority in that ball game was them getting a 1K. Wasn't them winning the game because they didn't play their starters.
Well, I don't think the number one priority. I think when again they had body issues at wide receiver. So basically, the guys who played the majority of the game were Jahan Dotson, Darius Cooper, and Britton Covey. And if you don't play one of the two, so it came down to AJ or Devontae, and obviously AJ's got more cachet from that standpoint.
Devontae never went back in after that.
No, he left as soon as at the end of the first quarter. As soon as he got 1,000, he left. That was the only goal to get him to 1,000. But no, they were never. It was very cold. You don't shut somebody down, and they're sitting there in the cold, and then all of a sudden ramp them up and put them back in there and say, because that's how you get soft tissue injuries and things like that. So there were a couple guys, Tyler Steen, when Brett Toth had to have a concussion, had a concussion. They had to put him back in the game because they had nobody else. Nick had mentioned that, Brandon Johnson left with an ankle injury. If they had another injury at safety, Reed Blankenship would have had to come into the game because he was dressed, but only in case of emergency. So Devontae would have came back in the game, but only in case of emergency.
But John, I want to push back on one thing here. If the number one priority in Nick Sirianni's post game today was that he was concerned about injury, why play Devontae?
Well, I agree. I don't care. I don't give two shits about milestones. Unfortunately, players think differently. I talked about this pregame. You're trying, in that situation, you're trying, while he's out there, you're trying to get him to 1,000. That's it. I mean, I don't think it's that much deeper than that. And when he got to 1,000, they said, let's get him the heck out. And they were obviously trying to do it early and often to get him out as quickly as humanly possible. So I don't think it was about more than that, but I get it. I mean, look, people get so upset when they lose, and then they go back, well, you didn't let Saquon Barkley. I got those people already. You didn't let Saquon Barkley get the all-time rushing record. Like there was a guarantee he was going to get 100 yards or whatever he needed. Most likely he would have, considering the year he had him. But, when you have 53 players, again, it's not preseason where you have 90 players. Certain guys had to play. You saw it with Jalen Hunt. You saw it with Moro Juma. You saw it with Jordan Davis. You saw it with Tyler Steen. Certain guys had to play. It usually rests on the younger players. Now, if I think Devontae would have went up to him and said, I don't want to play, he wouldn't have played. But that's not his nature either. And they tried to get him out as quickly as possible.
John, would you make a Tanner McKee's performance? I know you talked about it, but he was the hot name coming in. John, I think people are being unfair to Tanner. I said, if you told me Jalen Hurts wouldn't have wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, tight end 1, running back 1, starting left tackle, starting right tackle, and there's all 5 of his starting offensive linemen, I'd have said, yeah, it probably won't be Jalen Hurts' best game of the year. That's for sure. How'd you make a Tanner McKee today, John?
So are you telling me people are turning on Tanner?
Oh, they've turned on him, John. They've turned on him.
Yeah, I think it was very similar to last year. He was very good early and very bad late. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think, early on he was throwing on time. He was throwing confidently. Devontae was out there, and he was effective. And then as the game went on, some of the guys leave, and most notably Devontae, but also offensive linemen. Remember, Tyler left, and then all of a sudden you got to kick Matt Pryor inside. Cameron Williams, who's never played an NFL snap, is in at right tackle. You saw some of the issues they had with pass protection in the second half, so it got worse later in the game. But I do think if you want to blame the Eagles for anything, here's where I blame them. They won't admit it, but there's in breaking news, the Falcons are firing Raheem Morris. By the way, this is just happening.
There's the first one to go.
But by the way, if they would have played Kirk Cousins, they would have won the NFC South.
I heard you, John. You were right.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. What I blame the Eagles for is hubris. They thought they were going to win this game. And they probably should have. But that's how cocky they are, with Tanner McKee and Tank Bigsby, like we're going to beat an NFL team. And look, if there's a big mistake by Tanner, the interception in the red zone, and they didn't take advantage. They've been obviously the one thing on offense they've done well all year is be very, very good in the red zone. And they weren't that today. They were a little bit, too dismissive, I would think, of the Washington Commanders. But, how could you not be with Josh Johnson? I was dismissive of them too. But, that's not my job. Their job is to not be dismissive and to take everybody seriously. And I'm not sure they took this team that seriously.
How about this, John? Do you think that one guy that was pretty impressive offensively, I thought who had a good game was Tank Bigsby. I mean, 16 carries, 70-plus yards. I mean, had a touchdown. I mean, if you're struggling a little bit in the second half in continuity and with a lot of new players up front, I mean, how do you think Kevin Patullo handled the offense with the backups?
Well, I think, the same thing. It was good early. It was bad late. And that has to do – look, I never waver. It's players first. When they play well, it's players first. When they play poorly, it's players first. It's really difficult when you can't pass protect to play offense. And they're trying to come back and they're trying to throw the ball late. They can't pass protect. Plus, you don't have Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith turns into – then Jahan Dotson becomes your wide receiver 1. And everybody gets bumped up. Then a nice little screen to Britton Covey there. It was nice to get a manufactured touch. I think Britton should be involved in this offense. 2 or 3 plays a game. Not a lot, but just Zander brought that up a couple weeks ago. Get Devontae Smith running a jet sweep. He can't run a jet sweep. He's not that type of player. Britton's a manufactured touch type of guy. He can run the orbit motions. You can get him out in that screen. And he got 9, 10 yards, whatever he got. I thought that was positive. I thought Darius Cooper showed some of his ability. You saw more in-breaking routes, more dig routes. You saw the ball early in the game, the ball coming out on time. That Grant Calcaterra touchdown, that's a throw that Jalen Hurts doesn't make, if you want to be fair to Tanner McKee. So there was some good stuff. And I can't believe now I got to defend Tanner McKee. I thought they'd be over the moon. I thought they'd be over the moon with Tanner McKee.
John, your early thoughts, brother, on the Eagles' first-round matchup. It's going to be the 49ers in Philadelphia. I don't know if you've heard what day. I'm seeing online maybe Saturday night. That feels weird to me. But
I hope to God it's not Saturday.
No doubt.
That's what they're saying. I don't know if that's true or not. But do we know?
I was thinking. I'm looking at Saturday night or Sunday, the 4:25. I think is the most likely two options.
Yeah, me too.
That'll be made official later tonight after the Pittsburgh.
If it's Saturday, it's going to be a monsoon in Philly.
Oh, really? Oh, great.
It says right now. I mean, the weather could change.
Another game. Another weather game. I don't. I think I know most people think Green Bay, because of the way they finished, is the worst team in the playoffs. I don't think they are. I think San Francisco is. So I'm not worried at all about this first round matchup. The second round, then, if you have to go to Chicago, even though the Eagles are the better team, you never like going on the road if you don't have to. I just think San Francisco is a product of their schedule. Now, the team that showed up against Seattle, no Trent Williams, no Ricky Pearsall, Kyle Shanahan intimated that they would have been able to play if it were a Sunday game. That to me screams of sour grapes. But the point is they'll be back for this game, so they should be better than the team that you saw against Seattle. But this is not the Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk 49ers. Christian McCaffrey's one. Anybody who knows me, I love Christian McCaffrey. He's unbelievable.
Kittle too, John.
Yeah, George Kittle as well, and Trent Williams is a Hall of Famer. They got good players, but you get Brock Purdy off his spots, and you can do some things, and that's offense. I haven't even gotten to their defense. Their defense is an abject disaster without Fred Warner, without Nick Bosa. They never sack the quarterback. They never get pressure on the quarterback. It's amazing they're in the position they're in. I love this matchup for the Eagles.
Hey, John, you think they're disappointed that they had to play Ojomo and Carter that much? I can't think that they thought that they were going to go into a game where they were playing they played a ton of snaps in that game because they had no rotation. When that guy, Ty Robinson, that guy needed an oxygen mask by the middle of the third quarter. I mean, he didn't really John, I thought he was going to faint out there. He was waving to come out. I was like, holy cow.
Well, I have to, he did play more than I thought he would. So did Jalix. I think Jalix is like a NBA player. He could play 48 minutes and then go play another 48 minutes. So I don't worry about him other than from an injury standpoint, but he seems to have come out of it fine. Those guys played a little bit more than I thought they would. That's probably Vic. If he's got him, he's going to use him. And maybe they should have, sat Vic down and said, look, give these guys a little bit more. But, if they didn't play as much as they did, they're probably not as close as they were in this game.
That's right.
To be honest. So, because the secondary was really bad. They didn't play anybody in the secondary. They didn't even play Adoree Jackson. So forget about Quinion and Cooper or Reed, and Marcus Epps had a concussion. They didn't play anybody in the secondary, and that's what really hurt them with Bennett and Ringo. And then Brandon Johnson got hurt. All of a sudden, Mac McWilliams is on the field. So it was tough from that standpoint. And mainly the penalties more than anything else, as I said.
Oh, my God. John, they must have had 150 yards of penalties today.
Yeah, they had six on the DBs. Jacorian
9
had
for
3.
123.
Yeah, 9 for 1 to that, but 6 were on the corners. 3 on Bennett, 2 on Ringo, and 1 for Mac McWilliams, and they were some big ones.
I thought
put him at the
Carter
1.
had a penalty too, didn't he?
Who?
I thought Carter had a penalty, or that might have been Jacorian. I thought he had a penalty early on a hold early in the game.
I do not believe he did, but I could have missed it. There's 3 penalties. I know there were 6 that I know of from the secondary, and that was 3 on Bennett, 2 on Ringo, and 1 on Mac McWilliams.
Hey, John, the one play I do have to rip Ringo bad on, though, is in the end zone. I mean,
he's panicked.
Turns him around in the end zone.
He, at this stage of his career, the Eagles talked a lot about this with Drew Makuba when he was coming out. And said what they liked about him was that he was very comfortable in space. He didn't panic. If you're a corner in this league, some corners panic when they're one-on-one with these great receivers in open space, and they just start grabbing and clutching, and they panic. And Kaylee Ringo's still doing that in year 3.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah. Now,
it's time.
Well, he's such a good special teams player. He made it great. So but you have to limit him to that role. He's a special teamer.
Yep.
That's all he is at this point.
John, how do you think Kevin Patullo did today? John, I'm losing that. I know you don't like criticizing the guy. I don't think he's that good, John. I don't think he's got a good feel for the game. I don't think he's learning on the job as quickly as he needs to, inheriting an offense like this with a team like this. I just generally I know it's not all him. He's got a completely different style of quarterback today. They throw the ball 40 times. There's still no feel for the game, John. He's got some head-scratching calls at all sorts of moments. How do you evaluate
anyway, where are the head-scratching calls? I'm just curious.
The 17-17, he gets the ball back. Tank Bigsby's averaging 6 yards a carry, and he goes 3 straight pass plays. I mean, he doesn't have a feel for the game, John.
Well, Tank was at 4.7. Tank had a decent game. His longest run was 13 yards. He had a big pass play. Yeah, he had a 31-yard pass play. He caught the ball, made somebody miss. They spread the football around to 8 different receivers, which is new. Yeah. But I think that has more to do with the quarterback, to be honest. But it tells you, there are these options are built into the offense that you can move off the number 1 process to progression to number 2 to number 3, and then dump it off to Tank Bigsby. You might get 31 yards. These things exist in the offense. My guess is everybody was pretty happy in the first quarter. The KP haters looking at how good, and then my guess is when the results turned negative, they were very, very poor against KP. It's funny. The Eagles, and by the way, I had no idea till the Eagles obviously bragged about this. There are 5 teams in the history of football, 5 teams in the history of football with 2,000-yard receivers and a tight end that had 10 or more touchdowns. 5 teams in the history of the freaking NFL have accomplished that.
Stats, though, John. You can do that with any stat in football. Oh, let me pull this stat from here and this stat from here.
I wonder how many of those teams win.
I mean, what kind of rhythm is there to that, John? Funny.
By the way, funny you bring that up. So, 3 of the other 4 teams were great Denver Broncos teams. 3 of the 5 are Broncos teams with.
Peyton Manning?
And the other one, 1999, with the Carolina Panthers team that went to the Super Bowl. So, it's rare, to my point. EPA per play, again, I bring up the Eagles are 12th in the league. These people are nuts. They think they have the worst offense in the history of the world. It's just not true
Yeah,
by
but
every measurable, and it's just not true. And if they could run the football, if they could actually run the football like they could run the football last year, they'd be one of the best offenses ever.
Well, they'd look
But
like
they can't run the football.
They'd look
They
like
can't
last
run
year.
the football.
They look like last year. John, what do you make of this? What do you make of this matchup this coming weekend? Vic versus Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh versus KP.
Well, it's funny because Vic is probably the guy on defense and Kyle's the guy on offense, and I think that's it should be the high profile matchup, and B, nothing against Robert Saleh, he just doesn't have the bullets, man. So it's not about.
John, they had a
It's
decent
not-
outing versus the Niners or versus the Seahawks, man. Only gave up 13 points. They were 3 for 3 in the red zone and getting stops. I mean, I know they gave up some yards, but I thought that was.
I think he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not saying he's a bad coach. They just don't. They don't have the horses without Fred and Nick Bosa. They just
John,
don't.
they get killed on the edges. They get killed on the edges bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's just look. You can't. Vic couldn't. If he had those horses, I'd be saying the same thing. You change players, and you give Salah the Eagles' defensive players. He's going to have a better defense than Vic's going to have. Now, he won't have as good a defense as Vic has with the Eagles, but he's going to have a better defense than Vic would have with what he's got to throw out there. So, again, players first. They just don't have the horses on defense.
Hey, wait a minute. They do have Bryce Huff. Hang on.
Well, there we
now.
go.
Well, John, I don't think the matchup is their defense versus our offense, to be frank. I think the matchup, as you already talked about, is Kyle versus Vic. Who's got the advantage there, John?
Well, Vic has the better group, so Vic has the advantage.
Players.
He's got the better group. So I mean, if this was, the 49ers with McCaffrey and Kittle a little bit healthier, and Debo before he gained all the weight, and Brandon Ayuk, maybe I'd have a different conversation, and the great offensive line. Maybe I'd say something different. But right now, they don't, especially, I assume Pearsall is going to be back, but, he's not exactly one of the better number one receivers in the NFL. And Juwan Jennings is okay. But I think, the horses that Vic have will be able to shut those guys down. Now, you have a problem with Kittle. Kittle's still very good. And McCaffrey, look, I guarantee you that's the guy they'll be game planning for. And they'll do everything to stop him.
Hey, John, I'll tell you this, though, man. When I was watching Deebo Samuel out there, you remember that movie, The Wizard of Oz, and those Oompa Loompas? Boy, I'll tell you what, man, that guy's put a couple LBs on, hadn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he can still make a play.
He did,
can
man,
still
but
do
man,
some things.
He's a heavy guy now, man. That guy don't look like the same dude out there.
No, he doesn't. And, this 49ers team, look, I saw Fred Warner climbing up walls the other day. He seems close, but obviously, you need time to heal from those types of injuries. They're just, I just think they're too banged up on the defensive side.
I think they're talking, John, for Fred Warner. If they were able to get to the NFC Championship game, they would try to potentially put him in there, but that's weeks away.
Yeah. And a couple other linebackers got hurt. But also to your point about Seattle, Zander, Seattle plays a very cautious style, just like the Eagles do. A little bit different, not the same stylistically because they have a different style of quarterback. But they try to run the football, and they try to obviously keep Sam away from turning it over. So they don't exactly try to turn it on either. And that defense, I remember we were talking, well, how are you going to match up with that 49ers and Bears offense. Hey, man, that 49ers offense didn't look like that 49ers offense with the Seattle defense out there.
No, I agree.
I think it'll be the same thing with the Eagles.
I agree. Now the Seahawks able to put up 13 points. How many will the Eagles be able to put up, John? Who do you think's a better offense, John? The Seahawks or the Eagles?
That's a good question. I think the Eagles are probably a little bit more difficult to deal with because they're more well-rounded. But the Seahawks are more explosive because they have the high volume passers, so they're more explosive. But again, you are the guys, not me. AJ, Devontae, Dallas, Saquon. I mean, they still exist, and you got to pay attention to them all.
Yeah, Kevin Petula, he inspires more confidence in you than me nowadays, John.
I'll tell you this, John. I'll tell you in this matchup on Saturday, though, boy, you look at McCaffrey's year, 1202 rushing.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Hey, 100 catches he had this year for 924. I mean, holy cow, this guy had 2,100 total yards from scrimmage.
Well, hey, Sills, I got shit on because I said Barkley's the best running back in football and nobody's close. And then Saquon, then he got hurt and Saquon ran for 2,000 yards. So all the Eagles fans attacked me. And I said, yeah, you guys don't get it, man.
That guy's special.
Yeah.
He's a special player.
Yeah.
I think the guy down in Atlanta's kind of taking the role from him, but he's there right there too, as he's a special player.
Well, so is Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs to me is the guy now, but
Yep.
Gibbs is the toughest matchup. But and by the way, I'm not even joking. I think Atlanta is better than Carolina pretty significantly, and they just fired their coach. And they just fired
I'm pretty sure the owner agrees with you. He just fired the coach and
the GM.
John, I think the Saints and the Falcons were better.
I think the Saints and the Falcons. I think the Vikings are better than the Packers. I think the Lions are better than the 49ers. I'm not even joking when I say this. I don't think the best teams are in the playoffs, but that's how it shook out, and I think it's shook out well for the Philadelphia Eagles, even though
John,
they should have won this game and they should have got the number 2 seed. I think it has shaken out very well for the Philadelphia Eagles.
John, you sound like a man that thinks the Philadelphia Eagles will be in Santa Clara in a month.
Well, I don't know if they can beat Seattle in Seattle. See, that is a tough place to play.
I'm with you, John.
I don't think Seattle's offense is doing shit to Victor.
Yeah, but I think he dismissed going.
They scored 13 points for Robert Saleh.
Okay, well, who's your offense? I mean, you're making it sound like
our game's going to be 6-3.
Time offense. I mean, you don't have.
There is no matter how many times there is no transitive theory in the NFL. That's why San Francisco can score 40 one week and 3 the next. That's why Seattle scored much more than 13 points. Every game has a personality. Because you scored 13 points in one game doesn't mean you're going to score 13 points in another game. Maybe you score less, but maybe you score a hell of a lot more. There is no transitive theory. There is no guarantee because you had one good defensive outing, you're going to have another one. Or you had one bad offensive outing, you're going to have another one. The people that want to go, oh, well, they scored this against this team. Look, it doesn't matter. The Eagles, where the Eagles have the advantage, their core group has been through this. And so many of these teams are new to the process because in Chicago's case, because they had the 4th place schedule and they're jumping up. In San Francisco, 4th place schedule jumping up. Carolina, 4th place schedule jumping up. These teams ain't ready for this, man. They ain't ready for the playoffs. Seattle's a little bit different because they were good. They got better. And again, I don't ever want to play in Seattle. Ever, ever, ever. When they have 10 wins, never mind 14 wins. And with that defense. So I'm not saying they could. But you know what? You hope, same as last year, somebody beats Seattle before you even have to go to Seattle.
Yeah, that might happen, man. It might happen. We got the Darnold Avengers here. So, John, you'll be happy to know Sileo has joined you on the Darnold Express.
Well, when you win,
I'm on the 20. I'm on the 28-6 Express. Yeah, I am.
when you win 14 games, 2 consecutive, like who? Like I love these morons who are like, oh, this guy can. What you got teams that don't make the playoffs. You got teams that don't belong in the playoffs. You got teams that and you're telling me a guy who wins 14 games 2 consecutive years can't play?
It's not that he's not a good quarterback, John. It's that he turns to a pumpkin in the biggest moments.
So you think Hurts is better than Darnold as a player with skill?
That's not what I said. I said he turns to a pumpkin in big moments. That's it. Until he proves otherwise, that's going to be the take.
Okay. Well, he corrected the take from last year.
That's true. In week 18.
What about when you play like a pumpkin and you win the Super Bowl, like Ben Roethlisberger or John Elway? And John Elway, I always joke about John Elway, one of the greatest players of all time when he was losing Super Bowls. When he was winning Super Bowls, he's at the end of his career on fumes, riding Terrell Davis to his Super Bowl glory, and nobody remembers. This garbage that, quarterbacks are responsible for winning and losing Super Bowls.
Hang on, John.
They can lose it for turnovers.
Well, a running back can, if it's a 14-14 game and a running back fumbles, he could lose the game.
Yeah, well, that's football. John, do you think Darnold's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts?
It depends what style. If you're playing a different style, if you're playing a drop back, Kubiak Shanahan offense, yeah, he's a better quarterback. If you're playing the style, that's the beautiful thing about professional football and what makes coaches good. If you want to play a Shanahan Kubiak style of offense, you don't want Jalen Hurts. If you want to play a different style of offense, like the Eagles play, you may want Jalen Hurts. In other words, for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback. For the Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold's a better quarterback. And then hopefully in the NFC Championship game, you go and play and you see who has the better team. If it goes that far.
John, what are your final thoughts, man, on the show today? Eagles lose the game, but they're ready to rock and roll for the postseason. Now they got the Niners coming to town.
Yeah, well, it's a results-based world. So people are going to lose their mind because the Lions beat the Bears and the Eagles didn't take advantage of this situation by playing their starters. Nick said that. Nick gets it. But he made the decision beforehand to guarantee the one thing you can guarantee. So you can disagree with the decision, agree with the decision, but he made the decision. You live with it. I don't think it's about San Francisco. Look, if you're afraid of playing San Francisco, you're just afraid of the playoffs.
John, if you're afraid to play San Francisco, you're afraid of the dark.
I mean, in theory, you should be playing only good teams in the playoffs. I don't know if that's necessarily the case this year, but you're going to have to beat good teams to go to the Super Bowl at some point. So if that's San Francisco, you might as well start with San Francisco.
Sounds good. Johnny Mac, good show, brother. Appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you in the morning on Birds 365. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, John.
All right, see you guys. See ya.
Thanks, Matt. There's Johnny Mac. John McMullen joining us right here on the JAKIB Postgame Show. The Eagles lose the game today 24-17. They squander the chance at the number 2 seed after the Bears fell to the Lions. A lot of talk on Nick. Boy, I'll tell you what. John could retire from covering the Eagles and be a grade A politician almost instantly with that answer, Sills.
Well, we'll see how this plays out here. You finished up 11-6, 3-3 in the division. Your offense was up and down all year. Your defense got better. Stop me when you say I'm wrong here. And you're going into the playoffs having rested your players and giving up an opportunity to be in a 2-hole because you believed with your arrogance that the differences between San Francisco and Green Bay are not that big. So the Philadelphia Eagles at the end of the year, what they did was they said, I don't care if I'm the 2 or 3. We don't care if it's San Francisco or Green Bay. Well, you guys thought that you were going to beat the backup Washington Commander team. That was a flawed, obvious take by that organization. But again, you went down that lane, Zander. They're right. Health is more important than getting the win. That was more important than them to get the win. They didn't play their starters. Some of the guys they played. So how do they go into this game? Do they go in with momentum? I kind of think they're going in with half momentum. One side of the football's got it. The other side can't turn the ball over and really hasn't played that great all year. So
you think the Eagles are the better team right now than the 49ers?
I do.
Even with some of the concerns you've been talking about all year?
Yes.
I do too. I think they're the better team than the 49ers, for sure.
Between Green Bay and San Francisco, like I said, I think there's 3 teams.
Now, here's
the Rams and the Eagles.
I agree. Now, if the 49ers, last night did switch a little bit because if the 49ers were able to put up, let's say, 28 points on that defense, I think that would have been a tough test this week. But, obviously Seattle held them, and the rest is history. We'll see about what the future holds with those 2 teams matching up this weekend. Any indication Saturday, Sunday, has anybody seen yet? When will they release that? So?
I'm seeing more of Saturday afternoon, the late game.
That's what I'm seeing, dude. I'm looking at my weather.
Damn, what?
Now I'm no weatherman, and weathermen are wrong more than
this is another hose job on the schedule.
The weather people are wrong more than Sills when it comes to Eagles.
I'll tell you what, I haven't been wrong this year.
Yeah, that's what they all say. Supposed to rain hard.
11-6, the guy would never throw for 4K. I said that you would sit there and not see your guys go into the playoffs with an offense that would be in the top 10. Your defense is right now ranked 13th, 14th. That's kind of where we said. I don't know. Jalen Sutton would have the most sacks of anybody on the team. I think I've been pretty good this year so far, my friend.
So go ahead, do it with me.
No. I got a lot to make up for last year.
Give yourself a pat. All right, brother. Good show, man. Your final thought. Eagles, Niners next week, and they lose the game today to the Commanders. They go 3-3 in the NFC East this year.
You know what, though, dude? I'll tell you. I think you're in a good hole right now. I think you're in a good place. I think you're in a good spot. I think you're sitting there right now, and I think you got an opportunity. You know what's really happened this year, Z? I think this year a lot of these other teams, they've actually played not really good football and consistent football as well. But the one thing that the Eagles have done, the one thing that I give them massive credit for, dude, they rarely lose shitty games. This was your backups, dude. The only problem I had with this game was your arrogance. You thought your backups were going to win a game against and they did. And they're NFL players too. Yeah. They showed up. They wanted to play. That was my only bitch taking away from this game was that you thought you were going to win this game with your backups and your backups didn't get it done. Okay. Again, but for me, Zander, I move on. This is San Francisco 49er week for me.
I'm with you. I'm good with them trying to keep everybody healthy, man.
I got it. I'm with you.
Part of it, but all right, so it's a good show, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, brother.
Got you, brother. Appreciate it, guys. Do me a favor, please hit the like button. We'll see you 2 to 6 on Monday.
Later, dude. There's my boy Big Sills, Dan Sileo, host of the National Football Show. What's going on, JAKIB Nation? It's playoff time, baby. You know what? I don't give a rat's ass about the game that ended 90 minutes ago. I don't give a royal crap. All right? Now, we can talk about it briefly, but I don't care. I don't care that we lost. I don't care that Nick rested the starters. I don't care that Tanner McKee threw a pick. I don't care. I don't care. It's time to make a dynasty. You don't make a dynasty by winning 12 games, by getting the number 2 seed, by winning 14 games. That's not how dynasties are made. Okay? It's now time, folks. It's time. I'll give you the Michael Buffer. It's time for the playoffs, everybody. All right? This is where legends are made. This is where dynasties are made. This is where my sights are set. This is what I am focused on, is the Eagles taking on the San Francisco 49ers in Philadelphia roughly a week from today. Who cares about week 18? Losers care about week 18. I don't give a rat's ass about week 18. It's like the Chiefs a couple years ago. Remember when they sucked in the regular season and then they went on to win another Super Bowl? You remember that? No, you don't. The only thing you remember is that they won a damn Super Bowl. All right? So I, for one, am focused on the playoffs, and I encourage all of you to be focused on that as well. Okay? I encourage all of you to be focused on that as well. Okay? So good stuff there. Good stuff there. Let me look for the where's the drum roll, please. And what can we do? Here's everybody's heartbeat thinking of next week's playoff game. All right. Here's half of the fan base to Tanner McKee. And here's half of the fan base to Nick Sirianni. And then this is 80% of the fan base to Kevin Patullo. Yo, rest KP. This guy doesn't know how to call an offense. All right? All right, I'm ready for the playoff game. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to rattle off all the super chats. And then we will get to the post-game show. All right, we will get to the post-game show. All right, let me go to the super chats. Thanks, everybody. If you send a super chat today, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciated it, even if you're a JAKIB hater, all right? Because the super chats literally keep us on the air. And I mean that in the most literal way possible, okay? So thank you for supporting the channel. Caleb Brandon, what's up, Caleb? What the F? I'm with you. That was right after the game ended. Domenico, Sirianni strikes again. Blew 2 home games. Bum. Sounds like a Philly 500 chat right there. Here's Pumper. 3 seed, baby. Mission complete. I think Pumper likes the 49er matchup. Here's Cheapskate Coins. Coaches being too damn scared to let the starters play for even 1 quarter costs a 2nd seed. This is on the coaching, in my opinion. Don't agree. Got 17 games, and they've been one of the most healthy teams in the league in the last 5 years. Were you happy when everyone was healthy in the Super Bowl in 22? Were you happy when they were healthy last year to win it? Good. Then shut the F up, because that's what they do. That's their approach. They've been consistent about it. Okay? I, for one, can appreciate some consistency. Can you? You know? I'm sure some of you can relate. It sounds like me arguing with my beautiful woman, you know? Well, honey, at least I'm consistent. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, honey. All right, Cheapskate, thank you. Pin, we're 3-3 in the division this year. Yeah, crazy. Celso, what's up, Celso? Jalenites are going to come for Tanner, but the real issue is that atrocious defense, spotting them 2 to 3 touchdowns. Tanner did fine given his little play time. I think Tanner was fine today. I don't think he was that bad. He was playing with all backups. I mean, what do you want? All backup offensive line, all backup receivers, all backup tight ends. I mean, what did you expect? You know? If you're going to go for it on 4th, how does Tank not get a carry on 3rd and 3? Patullo is done. Yeah, he stinks. Roll says Tanner threw it away on 4th. Yeah, Roll. What the hell? Yo, hey, Tanner, I know there was nobody home, but on 4th and 18, Tanner, for the game, the only way a miracle can even happen is if you keep the ball in the field of play. All right? Throwing it to the stands on 4th and 18 is not a good move. All right, Tanner? Here's Pump, 3 seed. I used to pray for times like this. Niners are food. We Gucci. I like it. Here's Marcus Mack. Holy shit. Ringo and Bennett. Yeah, they stink. Yo, Bennett is Ringo is like, I get it, but I kind of knew it. Bennett, I had like this weird hope one day that he could be good. That dude is he like gropes people like so much so that the refs couldn't even try to turn a blind eye to it. I mean, he's like all over these dudes. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. I'm sure somebody's told you can't do that. Here's Penn, sit in the starting. Sirianni or Howie? Sirianni. Theo, imagine Hurts with this offense today. No faith in Patullo. Yeah, Patullo stinks. Freddie says, I never want to see Ringo play corner ever again. Me neither, Freddie. T-Time, I don't care if we lost. If we can't beat the 49ers, we ain't winning the Super Bowl. Let's find out who we are first round. Bring on the Niners. T-Time, great take. So far, the super chat of the show. Pumper says, Hurts throwing to AJ and Smitty while McKee's throwing to Calcaterra and Covey. Hurts has caviar and prime rib while Tanner gets lunch meat. Get the F out of here, Jalenites. I do agree with that from a sense of like, we can't have these expectations that Tanner just comes on here and slices and dices with all these backups out here. All right? I think that's fair to say. Here's JT. Bennett, Ringo, McKee. McKee cannot escape a sloth on the field if he tried. Chokes under pressure. Put some respect on Jalen Hurts' name. JT, you manage yourself however you want. Christopher Michael, watch Nick give a word salad BS answer. It's funny you say that before he spoke because he did give a BS answer. That's Nick for you. I'm fine with the approach. Adino says, I don't understand how we're 11-6 and Sills acts like it's a bad season. I get it wasn't perfect, but damn, in the playoffs again, let's see what happens. Adino, would you rather return to when 11-6 was your best? Because this is life when you want to win multiple Super Bowls. This is life when you win all the time. This is life for fans and for people who want to have a dynasty, who want to win multiple Super Bowls with one regime. Don't you want that? Don't you want that? We got the least amount of Super Bowls in our division. All right? How's that for a kick in the balls? I know everybody's so happy. We won the Super Bowl last year. Yeah? Well, we have the least amount of Super Bowls in our own division. 4 out of 4. We can't even say Ricky Bobby if you ain't first or last. We're 4th out of 4 teams. When you have bigger goals, Adino, you don't sit here and stroke your ego at 11 wins. But I agree. I didn't think it was an unsuccessful year at all, Adino. I thought it was a good year. I think it was a good year. First place schedule, no back-to-back home games. You had a bunch of different games of the week, 6 primetime games. I mean, tough schedule. So I'm good with it. Here's Swoosh. Can we finally unequivocally admit Patullo is the problem? Not the loan problem. Not Jalen Patullo. I'm not going to say the last word. I don't think you need to use the Lord's name in vain to talk about Kevin Patullo. But I will agree the guy's a stiff, yes. I just don't think he's learning on the job. Remember how we used to say, oh, he's first-year quarter, he's learning on the job. Well, what has he learned? Has he learned anything? Anthony says, Sills, who is the best defense, Broncos, Texans, or Seahawks? Probably the Texans, Anthony. I know I didn't ask Sills this, but I'd say the Texans. Broncos is nasty good too. And Seahawks are good, but I can't get the Rams torching them out of my head. I think they put up, 38? 37 in overtime. Matthew Stafford had 457 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. Puka Nacua had 12 catches for 225 and 2 touchdowns on the Seahawks. Now, I know that's an outlier for them because they've had overall a good year outside of that. All right? Okay? Here's Steven. We know why they didn't run the ball more. They wanted to showcase Tanner. I don't think that was it, but maybe. Pumper says, Niners then Bears. Oh, not that bad of a path. You Jalenites need to change your tighty whities. I think that's a great path if that's how it goes. Here's John. I took away that Tanner opened up the run game because Jalen is in Barkley getting stuffed. They don't respect Hurts passing. Then Jalen has to pass. All right, that's fair. Mikey Shreds. Month of December, Rams 3-2, Bears 2-3, Packers 1-4, Eagles 3-2. Doesn't matter how it looks. Multiple teams have won ugly and lost bad games in December. Agreed. A lot of parity right now. James Gaming, what's up, brother? Regarding my comment, we had something to play for and we didn't. That's all on the coaches. All right. We also had the playoffs to play for, James, and I'd rather have our starters out there. All right. The 2 seed doesn't matter if everybody's fucking hurt. Ray says, time to run the table and bring it back for the repeat. QB1 will get the job done. Get ready for the show, baby. LFG. Fly, Eagles, fly. That's a true Jalenite right there. Right, LB. Thanks for the super chat. No comment. Mikey Shreds. Gardner Johnson may have a concussion. My prediction will be he'll play. Phil's fan says, Washington had plenty of starters playing. Yeah, well, they have 4 wins. Hey, Phil, if you would rather switch places with the Washington Communists, then be my guest, okay? Spoken like a true Phillies fan. A team of losers is the Phillies. If you'd rather go and be Washington and play your starters and have 4 wins on the season, then go ahead. I'm good with the Eagles situation. Thank you very much. Alfonso, what's up, Alfonso? Thank you, man. Here's Walkout. You have never suggested Tanner should start, but you have correctly called everything else, Dan. And you have not been a glazed donut for Jalen either. No, that he is not. He has not been a glazed donut. Here's Pumper. I believe the coaching staff wanted the Niners. Once the Lions took the lead, we stopped running the ball. Nick and crew know what they were doing. I don't know about that. Here's James. I get your point, Xander, but for me, it's all about mentality. In my opinion, it's the wrong message you're sending by sitting your starters. Well, it worked last year, James. What, James, what's your take into last year? Because Saquon Barkley had a chance to be etched into the history books. And they sat him. What message did it send last year? Clearly the message it sent wasn't strong enough to not go and win a Super Bowl. So I understand where you're coming from, but the evidence would indicate what you're worried about doesn't matter. Devin, what's up, Devin? My only problem sitting the starters today is why do we play them last week? Would have still been the 3 seed. Well, you're gonna sit them for 2 weeks, Dev? I mean, I don't know. Here's John. I'll apologize when McKee goes 0 for 7 in the second half and throws inconsistently and goes 3 and out consistently with the starting offensive quality. All right, John. Here's Latin Inferno. Winning today would be the same amount of games. Better to have a healthy Eagles team, especially O-line, to make it another Super Bowl run. I agree. No team scares me. I agree. Saquon rushing record? Nah. Smitty 1K? I'm in. That's funny, Sig. I agree, though. I think you would have to play the O-line, which would obviously change a lot. Go Birds. Let's show some love for my boy Trotter Jr. I agree, man. He was awesome today. All over the place. I think he had a couple quarterback hits, a couple tackle for losses. He had, I don't know how many total tackles he had, probably 12 or 13. He had a lot of tackles today. I'd have to look that up. I thought Trotter was great today. All right. Here's Go Birds. What's up, Go Birds? Do you find it strange the coaching staff trusted McKee to throw 40 times but limit Jalen to 25 with the starters? Strange. No, I don't. It's their styles. We've known this now. Here's Comper Pump. I think this is a win for us. Best case scenario for matchup, all 3 NFC East teams hurt their draft stock and a no top 5 pick. Actually, not bad. Giants won today. Cowboys didn't, and the Commanders won. Interesting take there, actually, Pump. Mikey Shreds. Lucky Charm Gardner Johnson made a concussion. I'm not worried about that. I don't give a shit about them. We got the 49ers. Dom, what's up, Philly Dom? After today's performance, do you guys have any confidence in Tanner coming in if something happens to Hurts? Yeah, I do. Are you kidding me? He had 8 receivers catch a ball today. Philly Don, don't read the people on Twitter who they're not right. Tanner McKee isn't the holy savior. He's also not terrible. He can move the ball well. He's got limitations. Can't run. Can't move much at all. And he's not as experienced, but he can throw the ball. He can read a defense. He can get the ball out on time. And if there's receivers out there that are open, he can get the ball to them. He had a couple missed throws today, but overall, I thought he threw the ball pretty well. So I have confidence, yes, if we needed him. I don't think they will, but I swear to God, after today, I'll never complain about it. James, now that we agree on. Raphael, Philly 500. Raphael, what a dumb comment. Corporate Pump. Really nice to finally see all the Jailenites again. Some of these dudes haven't been back since the Chargers game. Judgment Day coming next week. We will see. Hangry Dogs, 10 memberships. Thank you, Hangry Dogs. Good stuff. Thank you, brother. Hangry Dogs again. Birds are running the ball in this game and stop calling run plays. Yeah, I don't know why. Tea time. Jalix Hunnett, 6.5 sacks, 9 tackle for losses, 24 quarterback hits, 2 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, and 1 touchdown. Damn. That doesn't sound like a freaking edge rusher stat line, does it? Whew, man, what a versatile player he is. Well done. Here's Wise Guy. Zander looks and sounds like David Koechner. I don't know who the fuck that is. Alfonso says, I like Tanner McKee. He's our backup quarterback, but he's no true dual threat. He's no Jalen Hurts. He's limited. He's limited. Here's Jason 18. I had both Eagles and Bears game on. Eagles game would show Bears scored almost 2 plays before they actually scored. Both games were on cable. Now, yeah, I watched them both too. Here's Gina. Only difference is that they were all home games. Eagles never won a playoff game while on the road making it to the Super Bowl. That's fair. We can break history, though. History is made to be broken. First half turnover on downs, 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 with backup quarterback, and you call a shotgun and throw twice. Dude, thank you. I mean, it's egregious. I mean, what are we doing out here, soccer? The guy doesn't think. He's a bad situation, awful situational play caller, and he's got no feel for the game. When to lean on the run, when to lean on the pass, it's almost weird. It doesn't make much sense. Here's Brody. You bringing back Ringo next season. No, thank you. No, thank you. David, I don't know who is that, Siglord. I don't even know who that is. Never. I've literally I don't think I've ever heard that name even once in my life. Like, is this supposed to be some dude that people know? All right, I have no idea. Here's Hollywood, a resident 49er fan. Zander, may the best team win. Ayuk really screwed the 49ers wide receivers up. Yeah, well, he sucks. You guys shouldn't have paid him. I don't know why you paid him. Why'd you pay him? Guy's a stiff. Bailed on your squad. But, Hogan, may the best team win. I agree. And if that happens, then the Eagles will win the football game. He's an actor, right? You've seen him. I might have done. Even for somebody that doesn't watch movies. Let me look this stiff up. David, what was it? Koech? Oh, I see him. Oh, yeah, I've seen this guy. I don't fucking look like this stiff. I don't see it, but whatever. I don't really give a shit what another dude thinks of my appearance. All right, weirdos. Here's Ramir with Hurts, run, pass, punt. Tanner, pass. You forgot the last word, Ramir, punt. You forgot the last word. Oh, man. Xander, someone needs to go egg Ringo's house. Xander, Packers, Eagles, Panthers. Imagine an Eagles, Panthers. That won't happen. That won't happen. That will not happen. All right. All right, who's ready to join the show? Post-game show. Coming up. Give me some time here because I'm producing today, so I got to manage pulling the clip for Johnny Mac, all right? Give me a second. Let it lay. Xander, whoa. First off, I take offense to that comment because I'm a very generous tipper. You know, I worked at a restaurant, easy, okay? I'm a 25% minimum guy unless you're a trash can, okay? So take this blasphemy and shove it, easy. Shove it, my dude. All right, give me a sec, guys, in the green room. I got to do this real quick. I got to try and pull this segment from Johnny Mac. John was on for a good bit today. All right, good stuff. One second. All right. All right. John McMullen reacts to Eagles Week 18 loss. Losing the 2 seed and wild card versus 49ers. Boom. Boom. All right, we got Joe Whip, Josh Herman, and riding the bench in here. Theo says, you're bruising my feelings. Theo, not happening. The one comment you read. Easy, it was a shit comment, and I told you that. All right? All right. Say Lord with a pause, per usual. Moonlight, appreciate what you do, Big Z. Moonlight, thank you, dude. Appreciate your support of the channel, brother. Appreciate your support. Ramiro got that one. All right, let's go to Joe Whip joining me right here on the post-game show. Joe, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, Zander. I have to behave tonight. I have two guests with me, my wife and my new puppy.
Oh, you got a new puppy?
Yeah, a new 8-week-old cockapoo. Got her yesterday.
Ooh, my mom had a cockapoo.
Yeah, so. Yeah,
Make sure you train her, Joe.
That's
Is
what
it
we're
a girl
doing.
or a boy?
That's what we're doing, Zander.
Oh, she's so. Is that a girl, right?
It's a girl.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Daisy.
I'll tell you what, you got to train your dog, Joe. I know people who don't train their dog. It drives me crazy. Train
Don't worry.
dog.
She's already enrolled in puppy kindergarten.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Joe, what'd you make of the game today? They lose 24-17. A lot to talk about.
Yeah,
You met it, Nick. What do you think of the upcoming 49er matchup? Thoughts on Tanner McKee? Start wherever you want, Joe. What'd you make of the game today?
Well, Nick is on quite a streak. Last year, he made all of his decisions were right. This year, all his decisions are wrong. So I would have gone for the win. At least played the starters for a half, depending upon what the other game was doing. I didn't like the fact that they just. That's not what I would have done. The one thing that the game did for me is it clarified who the problem is. It's not, for me, the problem is the scheme, because you saw the KP ran the same patterns and plays that he runs with Hurts, and he got the same result. And you saw McKee. How many did he roll out to the right and throw it out of bounds?
Yeah,
because nobody was open. That happened over and so to me, it's the scheme and the play calling. It's not the guy who's the quarterback. So it clearly made that crystal clear in my mind. As far as the 49ers are concerned, everyone keeps saying how their defense is terrible, but the Eagles' offense sucks.
I've been saying this all year now.
Why does it? I don't care how bad their defense is. If we can't move the ball, who cares?
Yeah, but do you have faith in the Eagles defense to shut them out? Because the Seahawks defense, they really controlled that game last night.
Well, shut them out?
Well, you know what I mean. I don't mean legitimately a 0 on the board, but I mean slow them enough to where you win a game in very Eagle fashion. We beat the Bills, I'll remind you, last week, 13-12.
Yeah, my concern would be that they don't move the ball and don't score, and they wipe the defense out. And so Christian McCaffrey or somebody makes a play in the latter half of the fourth quarter and they lose. That's my concern. The offense has to actually contribute to the victory.
Well, I agree with
game.
that.
All four quarters. You have to do it all four quarters. You just can't show up and just think, your defense is going to win. That's not how it works. So I'm concerned about the game because of the fact that the offense. Well, I'm concerned because the offensive coordinator's in over his head. The scheme sucks. The plays and the play calling is awful. They would have 3rd down and 3 again in the latter part of the fourth quarter, and he has McKee throwing a bomb down to the corner of the end zone. 3rd down and 3, run the ball. They went off the run. They'd be first and 1, and they wouldn't run the ball. I have no faith in.
Yeah, when the Commanders tied the game at 17, they came out and went pass.
I know. I have no confidence in Patullo. It's the same crap week after week after week after week, and I don't think they have enough time to totally redesign the offense.
Yeah, well, we'll see
in a week.
We'll see how it happens. Joe, it's going to be a good one next week, man. Next time we talk, we'll either be advancing or we'll be headed home, and you'll be headed to Florida with
I have to get the doghouse trained before.
Yeah, what's her name? Daisy? I think I saw you comment. Daisy, I love that. All right, good stuff. Joe, thanks for joining as always, brother. It's been a great regular season. I love talking to you every week. Talk to you next week, hopefully. All right, brother?
Take it easy.
All right, thanks, Joe. There's my boy Joe Whipp. Appreciate Joe Whipp joining me here on the Post Game Show. Let's go to Josh Herman coming up next here on the Post Game. Josh, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, Xander. How are you?
I'm good, man. What'd you make of the game today? They lose to the Commanders.
I've been thinking about this all week, considering the comments that have been made by the OC and the head coach. And I think I may have been too hard on old Jalen Hurts.
Wow!
So I think I may have been too hard on Jalen Hurts. And I'll tell you why. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching that game, and I totally agree with Joe Whipp. That offense did not look different than what I've seen Jalen do all year, right? I think, how many times on the broadcast you see, guys just aren't open.
Yeah.
So again, if the guys aren't open, the scheme doesn't work, then how do you expect the offense to win? And to what I was kind of saying earlier, when you get in the press conference, Nick Sirianni's talking about, when I hear a bad play call, I go, ugh. What do you mean you go, ugh? You're the head coach. If you don't like what's going on, insert yourself in.
Did he say that? Did he say that today?
I don't know when he said that, but I saw the clip. They were asking him something about the play calling, and he said, "Yeah, sometimes when I hear a bad play call, I go ugh." And
oh my god,
I heard that, and I was just like, "I'm telling you, look it up. It's there." And then they also asked Kevin Patullo during the press conference about the run game, and he was like, "Yeah, sometimes we run it just to run it." What do you mean you run it just to run it? You guys are professional alleged coaches in the NFL you're not rookies. You guys have had some experience at some level. You would think that you would have picked up some type of strategy, anything of that nature, to be in the position that you're in. And I get it that Kevin Patullo is an inside guy. He's a Nick guy. But still, you got to have qualified guys in the room. And again, the offense doesn't look dramatically different to me. And again, I may have been putting too much of it on Hurts. I'm starting to see that this may be incompetence coming in from the people who are coaching him. I definitely did not see Tanner McKee going in there and playing like he did. Now, again, they probably pass the ball better than they do with Jalen, but again, it's not dramatically different than what I've seen Hurts do all year.
The one difference is obviously the personnel around the quarterbacks, but I do agree with your point of the offensive approach.
Yeah, and I don't know why you don't lean into the run game. I mean, obviously, I'm a McKee guy, but I'm with you. I'd rather play a beat up Packers team than the 49ers coming into the playoffs. Now, I'm not too scared of the 49ers. That I told you earlier in the show. I'm feeling better about the Birds' chances because I just watched that Seattle game, dude. And I don't think Seattle has a better defense.
Josh, I'm watching that game last night, and I'm sitting there like, the Eagles could go back to the Super Bowl. Watching teams. I mean, that was the battle for the 1 seed last night.
Mm-hmm. And and I'm a little bit biased. My dad's a Niners fan, so I'm a little bit crushed by this. But I didn't have the heart to tell him. I was like, dude, that offense looked inept at best. I mean, they couldn't move the ball. They couldn't run the ball. And you've got Christian McCaffrey, future Hall of Famer, who catches the ball, runs the ball, does everything. The Swiss Army knife he's been his whole career, and you can't figure out a way for him to have more of an impact on the game than he did. Kittle's another guy that, I mean, he had a few big catches, but he didn't do a whole lot. But again, that Seattle's defense just stifled them. And even though I know we don't have a good offense as Seattle does, maybe you're right, bro, that we can just, don't turn the ball over, get a few 3-4 plays by Jalen in the offense, and we just ride that defense until the wheels come off. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think that I put this on Howie in the offseason, bro. I think you didn't put competent coaches in the position to really elevate an offense that has, on paper should be the best offense in the league. I mean, you're not going to get this, like you've been saying all year, man, you're not going to get this group of guys around forever. And you put a first year play caller in there with no experience, and this is the result. So, I mean,
the only thing I'd say back to that, and because I agree with you, but we got to remember, like, dude, Kellen left us late, bro. Like, most coaching staffs are together for a month, even new staffs at that point. So Kellen leaves right after the Super Bowl, and the Eagles got to go and hire. Everybody's hired at that point. So it's like, how many other guys are out there? Unless you wanted to pluck somebody from college, which probably wouldn't have been a great move either, Kevin kind of made some sense.
Yeah, I get it, but I've seen them do it in the past. I mean, they did it with was it who was the defensive guy a couple years ago? They cut middle of the season for Matt Patricia. I
Yeah.
mean, they hire inside all the time. They hire
Yeah.
Yeah, they hire inside all the time. But I mean, I guess this offseason will really be the telling point if you decide to part ways with Kevin. I mean, we may be in the same position. Who knows? We're in the playoffs, and like you
Yeah,
said,
right.
everyone's hired late.
True.
But again, we talked all season how we mortgage this season in favor for stuff down the road. We're gonna find out, and if we don't see any significant changes in the coaching staff more than the player side, then I'm going to have serious questions about the way Eagles do business as far as their front office. Now, again, Howie gets some grace because he's been so great, but still, bro, I mean, you can't have this lack of experience when you have this much talent on your offense. I mean, you've got a guy who I don't think throws the ball very well, and he goes out there and he looks the same as the backup. The backup, there was no discernible difference today between the backup quarterback and the starting quarterback.
Other
That's
than
a
the
problem.
volume. Other than the
Yeah,
volume.
other than the volume, but still, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a big problem. I mean, Tom Brady doesn't get replaced with Jimmy Garoppolo, and there's no handoff. Like, no, that doesn't happen on professional football teams. And look at the Colts, look at the Chiefs. No one who's got their quarterback out this year looks the same as they do with their backup and their starter. That just doesn't happen in the NFL. So, but I mean, I'm feeling good about the Niners. I don't know if we go much farther than that. Just depends on how the matchups face. But I won't say that we have no chance. I think it'll be probably a low scoring, gritty, one possession football game with the Niners. It just depends, how the cards fall after that. But
I think there's a chance the Niners are a much tougher test than who we could see in the divisional round. I mean, if you're talking about going to the Bears for round 2, I think the Niners are a tougher test. I do, personally.
I think that the Bears rely a lot on turnovers, and since I think I saw CJ had a concussion, they've also got that Kevin Byard guy in the backfield. But I think the Bears, if you don't turn the ball over against them, I think we can beat them. Now the caveat to that is the last time we played them, they ran the ball down our throats and we had no answer for it. But
true.
I mean, maybe this is a revenge game. Vic Fangio seems like when he sees guys more often than not, he can make those adjustments. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But the defense is kind of like it was last year. They started off figuring it out, and then towards the end of the year, they really started to come on, and you just couldn't do nothing with them. So I mean, maybe we'll see the same thing. Like I said, but I mean, the Bears again kind of feel like the same way about the Niners, but I mean, the Bears just have a better offense, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair. So, all right, brother, good stuff, man. Let's see what happens next week. I'm looking forward to talking to you. Hopefully next week after the game, we'll know if we're moving on or going home, brother. Do or die now.
Yeah, for sure, man. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Thanks, Josh.
Appreciate it. You have a good night.
You too, brother. There's my boy Josh Sherman. Appreciate Josh checking in. Let's go to riding the bench coming up next. Let me make sure I got my supers. Brody, what do you think about Garrett's record today? Great for Myles Garrett, man. Love that player. I think he's probably the best defensive player of my time. I'm 27. I was born in 1998. So I put Myles Garrett and I put Aaron Donald right there. And then the other guy that I've watched who I'd put up there, and this might be biased, would be Brian Dawkins. Outside of those guys, I mean, I can't think of – there's some great players, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about rarefied air here. So I'm pretty happy for Myles Garrett. I've always loved that player, Myles Garrett. I saw the sack. I know people are going to say, but that was a good pass rush, man. I know the quarterback went down, but he blew around that tackle. He wasn't even there. So I thought it was good stuff. Good stuff for Myles Garrett. Brody, thanks for the super. Let's go to Riding the Bench. Joining me right now. Riding the Bench. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What it do, man? How we doing?
Good, man. Playoffs coming up. They lose the game today. Quick thoughts on the game today, and then we'll talk a little bit about that playoff game. What'd you make of the game today?
Before I go into the game, I would add Darrelle Revis to that list.
Oh, that's a great one.
I would add
great
that
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
got to add Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The game is what it is. I thought it was really pass happy for no reason. The like everyone's been talking about this play calling. It's just been very, very there's just no sequencing. It doesn't make sense. There's no rhythm or flow to the game at all. And that's kind of been what it's been all year long. And I think that's what even Jalen has said, we have struggled to find our identity. And that's kind of why I think the coaching staff doesn't know what they want to do. And, it's just this is not how you're supposed to
It's like a tumbleweed blowing in the wind, dude. There's no anchor. There's no anchor for what they want to be and what they want to do. It's just oh, this week we do this. This week we do. Yeah, it's weird. I agree with you.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that really comes down to the fact that we don't have a veteran play caller. And I know you mentioned that it was really late that Kellen Moore left, but like you're telling me the Eagles couldn't find somebody who at least had a history of calling a game.
Yeah,
Like,
there had to be somebody.
There had to be somebody out there who could call a game, right? But all in all, listen, like you said, it was really inconsequential today in the loss. You got the Niners in the 3-hole right now, and they're come to Philly, cross-country trip, a beat-up team. Now, I would say this: they are, outside of the Rams, they are the one team that has the most playoff experience among a bunch here, right? So, like in that sense, it's not the easiest first-round matchup to have. Because Kyle Shanahan's as good of a play caller as there is in the NFL, and
kind of like an antidote for what our strength is, if you will. It's kind of strength on strength.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, you can call Kyle Shanahan and Vic a push, and then at that point, it's like, who do you trust more, KP or Robert Saleh? And it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know what.
I'll tell you this: I trust the players on the Eagles' offense more than I trust the players.
Well, there you go. Exactly. It just comes down to talent at this point, right? Yeah. And I don't think the Niners have enough talent to match what Philadelphia can do. So, and especially at the Link. The Link's a different beast. It just is. And, like, we're a front-running team. So, like, once we start pouring it on, like, we could really give it to a lot of teams. And I just don't think the Niners have enough players right now on that defensive side of the ball. So I think it's going to be a fun playoff run. And who knows? You string one game together and all of a sudden confidence is up. Yep. That's really all you kind of need when you've been there and done that before. So, like I said, I tweeted it before. I smell an Eagles run, dude.
Dude, but what you just said, the key phrase of what you just did is when you've been there and done that before. I don't think people, when you've never been there or you've never done it, which, by the way, the only 3 quarterbacks in the postseason who have Super Bowl experience are Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, and Brock Purdy. And I think Aaron Rodgers, if he gets in on the AFC side. That's it. So they've been there, and I think when you get that one playoff win, all right, it's right there, man. It's attainable. Versus other people, they're chasing this proverbial ghost, that they've never achieved. Much harder that way. So I definitely agree with you on that. Well, we'll see what happens next week, dude. It's going to be a good one. What'd you make of McKee today?
I think we asked a lot of him.
Yeah, me too.
Be a backup, win a big game to get the 2 seed with back. I mean, like, look, I thought he played fine. There were some throws that I think he wished he wanted back.
Yeah,
for sure.
That one late, that 4th down one late was bad.
Yeah, there were some inerrant throws. But you know what, man? Like, I thought he played just well enough. Again, I wish we ran the ball more. I thought Tank Bigsby played really well today, and I feel like I didn't see him in the 4th quarter. Yeah. And I think, again, that's just a bad situation with coaching right there. And whether that's Sirianni or KP. And again, last offseason, we talked about it where it's like, Kellen Moore's in the building. They told Nick to stay out of the damn way. Now you bring in Nick's guy, and all of a sudden the offense looks terrible. Again, as much as we want to malign KP, I think Nick Sirianni has to take some blame in terms of the feel for the game. The one thing he's supposed to do is manage the game well. Like, that's his job. And this year in particular, I think he's been really iffy on it. I'm not going to kill him for it, but it's definitely one of those things you have to keep your eye on because – geez, man, I don't think we go into a lot of these games in the playoffs where you say, wow, we have an edge in coaching. Outside of Vic, I don't think there's a lot of games that you say, yeah, we got the edge right here. And I think that's part of the problem in the NFL when it's a coach's league for a lot of things. Yeah. And but again, the experience matters, being at the Link matters, health matters. We have all those things kind of lined up for us right now. So rain, sleet, or snow, the Eagles train's got to go, and it's now time. It's the playoffs, baby. I get to become the Eagles homer now. It's great. Now you're going to see no objectivity from this side.
I gotta go Eagle homer too. All right, I'm feeling like I try and when I talk about the game, I try and avoid the homerish because I don't think it gives you good analysis.
Yeah,
I think this team could legitimately make a run. I don't think that's to say. Yeah, I mean, I think they have the pedigree, they have the experience, they have a dominant defense. If you can give it, if you told me before the year, you can have this by week 18, a great defense or a great offense, but you can't have both. I'm taking the great defense for the playoffs.
Yeah,
me
100%,
too.
dude. 100%.
So that's what we got. If the offense can make those 3 to 5 plays, man, I think they're right in the mix.
And it's not just a great defense; it's like arguably the best in the NFL in terms of points per game, right? Like,
especially since week 10. Since week 10, it's crazy good.
And honestly, that's where you're making money, right? That's where you're making money in the NFL. You got to play good down the stretch, and the Eagles defense have done that. So, We shall see, man. We shall see. It's going to be a fun playoff run, I think.
No doubt. Brother, appreciate you joining in. As always fun talking with you, man. I hope to talk to you next week, and we'll see what ends up happening. When we talk next week, we're either going to be in a great mood or we're not going to be in such a great mood, my friend. So looking forward to talking to you then. All right, brother?
Heard that, man. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Later, man. There's my boy riding the bench. Appreciate him joining the show. I got O-Line Guru coming up next here on the JAKIB Postgame Show. Oh, I'm up with Steven. Let me get a Guru. What's up, O-Line Guru? How you doing, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. What'd you make of the game today before we get into that playoff talk?
After it's said and a little bit, I ain't as mad. I definitely didn't like the loss, though, at first.
Me neither.
It's just we didn't have to lose it, to be honest. Even with
Well, where do you put it on? Like, are you mad at Nick for it or just kind of the outcome of the game?
I think the game could have been won with our backups, even. Like, I think
that's me. Like, I think they just didn't execute. You know,
I'm gonna say this, and I've been fair to KP. I've said he was bad, and I said he was good. I usually fair. You feel me? I just say what I seen that day. He's just proven that he's not a good play caller to me. Like, this is one thing I don't care about. I understand, and this is why I will push back on John. I understand people are open at certain times of the game, but throughout the rhythm of the game, he's not consistently throughout the rhythm of the game. Sure, like any other play callers, do people get lucky and people are wide open usually? Yes, but on certain things, it's like I'm seeing too many deep balls on 3rd and 3. Like stuff like that is really bothering me. Um, but we're in the playoffs, bro, and I'm confident. So I'm being confident. So I'm just really critical of it today. But we'll be fine, man. That defense.
What do you make of the matchup next week? What do you like? Do you like that matchup? How do you kind of see?
I wish we had the second seed.
What's that?
I wish we had the second seed. Don't get me wrong. I get it. The Niners ain't the Niners like they usually are, but teams that have been there before in a playoff atmosphere it's still an aggressive dog to put down, man. That's still an aggressive dog to put down. You got Brock Purdy over there. He's been to a Super Bowl.
And he was playing really. I know he didn't play great last night.
I don't know if they'll. I just know the effort and the intensity and the focus over there is going to be on 10. That's all I know. And I would have been more confident in the Packers than the Niners. With that being said, I think we can beat the Niners. You still beat them though. But if you ask me which one do I prefer the Packers. So, but how do I think we'll do against the Niners? I think we'll do fine, man. I think with the Niners, like everybody been saying, both of the defenses, you can kind of wonder how they do. The 49ers don't have a lot over there, but the Eagles got a lot over here. The offense got to put up a little bit of points, man. I just need mid-20s. Give me 21-24. We'll win the football game. Give me 21-24. We'll win the football game. And I think in the playoffs, our playmakers going to make plays. I really think our players are going to win in spite of KP.
I think Jalen's going to make plays. I think Jalen is going to.
And see, Tanner today kind of showed what's the word I'm looking for? The veteranness in Jalen.
Yes.
Like on that.
Yep.
Like that 3rd and 3. No, that 2nd and 3.
Yeah.
When he threw it anyway. Little stuff like that sometimes we ask Jalen to take risks. That shows you why moving the chains are important.
Right.
Just move the chains, man. Just make the smart play. Now, of course, I still think Tanner's one of the best backups in the NFL. I never thought he was better than Jalen. I've always been vocal of that. But I think he's really good quarterback, obviously. I think that we're in a good situation. So if Jalen went down, we're one of the most confident teams in the NFL that we have a backup quarterback. I think the lack of experience, though, today showed me, though. This is the first time I seen Tanner. I was like, all right, Tanner, you made some bad decisions or missed like some key throws today. I expected a little bit more. I don't think KP helps him either. KP doesn't help Jalen. KP doesn't help Tanner. I just think the situation doesn't really help, but we'll be fine, bro. We got the best players on our side, man. We'll be fine. We're gonna go back to back Zander.
Let's see what happens, man. Should be good. All right, brother. Appreciate you joining in, man. Let's see what happens next week. Looking forward to talking to you then. All right, dude.
Yeah. Let me say one more thing. That pass is crazy, bro.
Oh man.
What are we talking about, bro?
That's Kevin. He's got no feel, man.
You have a backup quarterback, and we're going to throw the ball 40 times. I don't care his style, Zander. I don't care his style, Zander. I'm telling you, I don't care if we thought we had Patrick Mahomes back there. He's the backup quarterback, and we have a playoff atmosphere type of game, and you're going to depend on a guy that hasn't played football all year to throw the ball 40 times. I don't care how good they are. If they haven't played all year, that's a big ask. So I just think that was crazy, and we fumbled that one. Tank Bigsby is a beast.
I think he needs touches, man. It's not even about me not liking Barkley. It's just about that guy deserves touches in the football
They're
game.
talking about jet sweeps. Put him in cover. Put him on the jet sweep. Put him in cover. Let them do it. Get them the ball, man.
Get him the ball. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man.
We're going back to back.
I love
Going back to back, man.
Later, dude.
We'll be all right, brother. We'll be all right. All right, man.
Appreciate you. There's my boy O-Line Guru. Appreciate him joining me. Let's go to Steven. Steven joining me here on the post-game show.
Hey, Z.
Steven, what's up, my guy?
I'm doing good, man.
What'd you make of the game today, Steven?
I mean, I think the results mimicked what the organization did today. When you play Keely Ringo and Jacorian Bennett, you get shit results.
Yeah, Steven, you got some great takes, Steven. All right, how do you feel? Well, I'll get to the game today. How do you feel about the Eagles playoff game next week?
I think they can win that game because, I think Brock Purdy has turned the ball over at times. And I think with the Eagles defense, as aggressive as they are and as much as they can get to the quarterback, I think they're going to make Brock Purdy make some mistakes. B, I know our offense does not take advantage of bad defenses, but did you see the way that Seattle was just like running all over them? I think Barkley will be able to run on that team. And if you get Tank Bigsby more involved, I think he'll run on them too. And then C, I think the coaching is a push. I think Salah's better than Batullo, but he doesn't have the personnel. And then I think Vic and Shanahan, that's a push. Yeah, but I think the Eagles are going to win that game next week. I would have felt better if it was the Packers because I think the Packers are just on a downward spiral. But I think the Eagles are going to win that game next week, and I feel pretty good about that.
You feel pretty good about the playoff run as a whole?
I don't. Here's what I don't feel great about: if they have to go to Seattle.
Man, everybody's afraid of. I don't know why that doesn't scare me even one bit.
I feel like to win that game, the defense has to be like insane. Like you have to win that like 11-8. Like to me.
The 49ers, how good do you think the 49ers defense is?
If they had Bosa and Warner, I think they'd be.
But they don't. How good are they without them?
They're not good. They're
okay. They gave up 13 points to the Seahawks. I think Vic Fangio is going to walk in there and make Sam Darnold see ghost, is what I think.
I agree with that.
He's going to throw 2-3 picks.
But if the Seahawks defense gets pressure and they get turnovers off the Eagles, they could score points with their defense too. And if you're playing Seattle, I think that could happen.
It could happen. I just think that I think Vic Fangio is going to give Sam Darnold fits.
I 100% agree with you on that. I think Sam Darnold would get murdered by the Eagles defense, but their defense will keep them in any game. It's like ours. It's like the Texans. And I think if you have to go play them on the road in Seattle, I just think that would be, to me, the least favorable matchup for the Eagles.
So the game, they've announced the time. The game will be 4:30 on Sunday.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know what time zone you're in, but 4:30 Sunday Eastern.
Do you know Honeybrook? I live in Honeybrook. So.
Oh, yeah, you're not that far away. You're not that far. Right.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. All right, Steven, what'd you make of Tanner McKee today, brother?
I thought he played decent. Then again, I'll tell you this: I think Kevin Batullo is terrible. I think when you have a backup quarterback and you're as limited with your pass catchers as they were today, with Dotson in there and Darius Cooper in there, and you have Bigsby. What was he? Was he averaging 5.5, 6 yards a carry?
Yeah, 5 yards a carry. That's what he ended up at.
Why don't you just run Bigsby more? I think it's like simple stuff, and he just can't get the simple stuff down, and that's what it caused the offense to like splatter. And I think a big reason, I think Jalen deserves his blame at a lot of times, but I do think Kevin Batullo does deserve some blame, and I'm not on John McMullen's side there. I think you got to blame the coaches to an extent too, and I think they have to take their share of accountability just like the players do.
No doubt about it. We'll see what ends up happening. All right, Steven, let's see, man. Let's see. They lose the game today, but it's now playoff time.
Xander, I'm hyped.
Me too, dude.
I'm feeling it.
You feeling a Super Bowl run, Steven?
I am, honestly. I think
dude, you're kind of Steven, I gotta tell you, your energy is coming through the screen right now, Steven. It's getting me fired up.
I don't think anybody besides the Seahawks in Seattle will beat us, personally.
And
maybe the Rams, but
I'm going to tell you this, Steven. I agree with your take, except that the Eagles are going to beat the Seahawks in Seattle too. You should feel
That
confident
would
about
be
that
dope.
too.
I mean, that defense is so good, though. That's the problem.
Dude, what are you crying about that defense for?
Dude, I mean, I watched them, man. They had Brock Purdy and McCaffrey couldn't do anything, and McCaffrey's having a better season than Barkley, so it kind of gives. But then again, I think they can win that game. I just think it's the least favorable matchup.
Let's see.
But
We'll see what happens. I don't disagree with that. It's probably the least favorable matchup. But all right, brother, I appreciate you, Steven. It's always good talking to you, man. Any other thoughts you got to get out here on the post game show?
I think get hype, man. I mean, a lot of teams want to be in this position, and they're not right now. Like you see the Falcons, they just had to clean their front office and their like head coach out of there, and we're in the playoffs right now. And I think we should be hyped about that. I know it doesn't always look perfect, but this is 5 straight years that they're in the playoffs, and they have a legit shot to repeat something that's only been done. That'll be the 3rd time this century. So I'm happy, to be honest. I'm
you're
really
looking like a true Phillies fan who knows how good the Eagles are. I respect it. The Phillies stink if you didn't pick up my lingo.
Dude, I'm losing confidence in them, dude.
I know you are, and I am too, and I'm here to make it worse for you. They ain't winning shit.
Nah. Maybe the Sixers at some point.
Yeah, a couple years out. But all right, brother. I love you, Steven. I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you soon. All right, man.
See you, Z.
Later, dude. There's my boy, Steven. All right. Appreciate Steven. Appreciate Steven. Appreciate all you guys, man. Good show today. A great freaking show today is what I would call this. Okay? A great freaking show. All right? I feel good, man, about this Eagles playoff run. It's funny because all year I did not. Like, I'm looking, I'm like, this team, they're not making a run. They don't have it. They're not it. You know, sometimes it's just not your year. It's kind of the way I was thinking. I'm not going to lie. Offense stinks. You know, when we got ran for 280 on the Bears, I'm like, oh, this is getting ugly. You know, and now I'm just like looking at the way that the whole league, way to cookie crumble for the postseason. I'm looking at the matchup. I mean, now that the lineups are set, by the way, 4:30 on Sunday. So here's the schedule. I'll show you through it real quick. But just looking at the way the matchups are set, I mean, I feel like the Eagles are in a really good spot, man. I really do. I really do. I feel like they're in a damn good spot. All right, guys, this is what it looks like this weekend. All right, so this is your playoff atmosphere this weekend. All right, let me pull it up for everybody. All right, here it is. So Saturday, you got 2 games on Saturday. The Rams at the Panthers is Saturday 4:30. All right, so this time, the time we were today, next Saturday. And then the night game on Saturday is Packers at Bears. All right, so you got 2 NFC games on Saturday. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Bills at Jaguars. That's a great game. We'll be on our pregame show probably during that game. And then 4:30 p.m. is the Eagles. 49ers at the Eagles on Fox. All right? 49ers at the Eagles on Fox on Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 1:30 p.m. Cali time, 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Whatever time zone you're in, let me know, and I'll translate it for you. 8 o'clock Sunday night game on NBC. You got the Chargers at the Patriots. I think the Patriots destroy that team. And then Monday night game, you have the Texans at either Baltimore or Pittsburgh. So that is your playoff weekend next week. All right, that's your playoff weekend next week. So I think it's a pretty good looking weekend, man. I think the Eagles and the Niners are the best matchup to me. Right? Are the Eagles and the Niners the marquee matchup of the week? I think they are. And by the way, don't sleep on that Rams-Panthers game. That's going to be an interesting one. Boy, can you imagine if the Panthers beat them? Holy crap, that would be such a good setup. That would be such a good setup. But all right, everybody. Appreciate all you guys being here today. It was a good show, a good post-game show. I'm telling you right now, I flush the loss. Who cares? Fuck the loss. Sorry, excuse my language. F the loss, man. Who gives a shit? I know it's weekend. I didn't want to lose either, but it's time to flush it. It's time to go get ready for this postseason, man. All right? Postseason coming up, ready to go. What's everybody got on the agenda? There's a night game on right now. It's the Ravens and the Steelers. I'm not even watching it. Let me put it on real quick. See who's winning. Yeah, Ravens at Steelers. There's John Harbaugh yapping. Is John Harbaugh a bum? Trying to see the score. What's the score of this thing? 10-3 Baltimore. Oh, lovely. Sounds like a snooze fest. 10-3 Baltimore. All right. Here's Anthony Kramer. Anthony, you crying because people support the channel? Anthony, why are you miserable, Anthony? You've been crying. You cry about the fans. You cry about the host. You cry about the team. You cry about Jalen. You cried about Tanner. Anthony, I think it's a you thing, brother. I think it's a you problem, Anthony. I think everybody's here having a good time. I think you're the bum, Anthony. Freaking Anthony. Anthony Kramer comes off as the bum of the chat. Hey, Anthony. Anthony, we know the truth. Anthony. That's funny. All right, man. Love all you guys. I'm not sure what you got on the agenda tonight, but I'm going to let you guys know something. First off, I got this thing for Christmas. This was gifted to me for Christmas. It's like this scribe, it's called. And you can take like all your notes on. It's great because I'm very disorganized with my notes. So now I just got them all on here, right on bang. But this thing doubles as a freaking Kindle. And I've been reading like a madman. So I'm going to when I get off the postgame show tonight and I get all my post-production done, probably get up to bed around 11:30-ish, I'm going to get a nice hour of reading in. All right. I'm going to get a nice hour of reading in. All right. I'm going to read some Tolkien. Okay. So I'm going to read tonight. If you guys got any book recommendations, let me know. Let me know. This is Amazon. This is an Amazon Scribe. Look, it's pretty dope. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these things. But so there's my Kindle. But you can go to notebooks and you can just make notes. You can put them in folders. So I got folders. JAKIB, personal, my other stuff, ZK's garage. Like, here's my notes from last week's Bills game. Like I have all my notes on multiple pages. But it's nice because I can just go back to them. And the pen works really good. The pen works really good. It's a Scribe, it's called. So, yeah, so. Yo, Morty, this is a nuts comment. Morty says, sound effects are tremendous. Will there be a ceremony to retire that shirt? So Morty hit me. The funniest part, yeah, this shirt's terrible. All right. Let me tell you something. Morty hit me with Xander's wearing his new Christmas shirt. This is not a new Christmas shirt. This sucker has been, it's one of those, you know how I'm sure some of you guys have this. You got the piece of clothing that like, it's in the back of the closet. It's at the back of the drawer. And then just like randomly you see it and you're like, what the hell? Put it on. This is that shirt. It's been 3 years since I've worn this thing. It somehow appeared at the front of my closet this morning before church. I'm in a rush, going to morning mass. I didn't get up early. I put on this shirt and then I just never did anything else. I just left it on for the whole day. All right. So yes, Morty. I don't think there's going to be a ceremony, but this shirt is officially retired. You will never see this shirt again on the show. That would be my prediction. Tolkien is awesome. Oh, CZ, that's banging. I love Tolkien. That's what I'm reading again right now. All right, that's what I'm reading again right now for the second time. I read all the Lord of the Rings back in the day, but I'm reading them now, and I just downloaded all his other books. You know, today's his birthday, CZ. Today is Tolkien's birthday. So I got a bunch in the library. I got the next one I want to read is the dang, I'm blanking on the name. What's the one with the S? Yeah, the Silmarillion or whatever the heck it is. Yeah, that's the one I want to go next. So, not to mention the T-shirt from the War of I can smell the moths from here. Nah, there's no moths, guys. It smells fresh. No, it's fresh. You get nah. All right, come on. You took it too far. All right. Okay. All right. I appreciate all you guys. Anthony, you're a bum. Anthony's crying in the chat. Anthony, you got more tears than my baby sister, man. Holy shit. But all right, guys. Playoff time. It's playoff time. Even a bum like Anthony's got to get fired up for the playoffs. All right. I do love Lord of the Rings. Oh, I'll check that out. Let me type that in on Google so I don't forget. CZ is one of those guys who he's got the you got to read CZ's comments because he's really got some good ones. Hildebrandt. All right, I see it. Oh, sick. I'm going to look at that. Xander, you never acknowledge. You don't watch because I acknowledge messages of people who call me out all the freaking time. All right. Ramir says, my grandfather got. All right, this thing's got to come off, man. This thing's got to come off. All right. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Love all you guys. See you next time, everybody. Appreciate each and every one of you.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.